needs to come in. There was kind of a guest list. You had to RSVP to get into this victory party here. Now, let me take you back about 24 hours ago. This morning, when I woke up, we drove around here in Orange County looking at the various polling sites that were set up here. We went to a couple facilities in the Newport Beach area. And what we saw was really substantial lines for people to vote. Now, obviously, about 7 million people have already sent their vote in for early voting here in California. Now, many of those are anticipated to be mainly Democratic candidates mailing in their votes. Traditionally, Democrats mail in their votes, despite what people think with Republicans tend to be more of the day of voting for that. But nevertheless, we are here, and we're going to have our coverage kicked off all through the night, going up until about 10:30 here local time, when the results hopefully will start to have some type of conclusion. Of course, that's one of the biggest questions now is, will we know exactly who won this election here, and will we know the totals? Will there be enough that we're reporting from this? We just don't know. Walking over here and just kind of giving an idea of what the setup is. Of course, this has very much a banquet type feel to it. This is what is deemed a victory party, and we'll see what the mood is in here. And of course, Larry Elder the last couple of days have been all over the state of California, basically visiting DFW halls, visiting businesses, and talking about the issues that are important to Californians. And of course, one of the local news stations here had a report that said the majority of people who voted in this recall election, the number one topic on their mind was COVID response and feeling safe, and the fact that the governor here in California has a clear vision when it comes to dealing with COVID-19 here in the state of California. But one of the things that we'll talk to tonight, and I'm sure you're going to hear it from a lot of people that were going to be here tonight, is about the way that Governor Newsom handled the COVID response, shutting down really largely just about every business here in California was shut down. I was able to kind of walk around some of the cities here today and talking to people on the streets about how they felt about this recall election. And I honestly, guys, I couldn't find a single person, not one person, that supported Gavin Newsom in this recall effort. Not one. And I probably talked to dozens of people as they walked around. So I couldn't find any support for Gavin Newsom. I'm sure it's there. I was told by one reporter that ultimately, if I was to go up towards the Long Beach area, where Biden was just there yesterday visiting, and of course go up to the Los Angeles area, that might change. But here in Orange County, it was a very strong Larry Elder stronghold here in this county. But we're going to have a long night, folks, and hopefully that we have some sort of resolution at the end of this. And of course, I was reading some of the election laws and regulations here in the state of California, and actually the Secretary of State, technically the counties have 30 days to do the canvassing and to make sure that everything is reported and everything is absolutely certified and verified. So this could take weeks, it could take days, who knows? And of course, Larry Elder had said earlier today that if he would in fact potentially challenge any type of outcome in this election in regards to voter discrepancies, which we've heard numerous times of questions being asked about people in Woodland Hills. I think had one polling place where people went in to vote and were told, well, you've already voted before, you can't vote. So now a provisional vote is done at that point. So how many examples of that is out there here in California? We don't know, but hopefully tonight we have some type of conclusion of what this is all about. And of course, you know, what is also weighing on the minds of Californians is crime. I mean, crime in this state has come to the point that we have basically decriminalize a lot of things in this state. I had one business owner tell me that, quite frankly, he writes off close to $1,000 a month in stolen goods from criminals that come into his store and literally just walk out with goods that you cannot stop them. Any dollar amount under $900 is almost like a non-criminal offense. So theft is essentially being legalized in this state. We'll talk about the homelessness problem that is absolutely in certain spots around the country. Homelessness around the state, rather, is at a all-time record. Now, in Orange County, you don't see that as much as you do up in LA County, up in the San Francisco area, but nevertheless, like, it is a major problem here in this state, and he wants to talk about that. He has a kind of a plan to eliminate the homeless problem, at least alleviate some of the problems related to that. We'll talk about campaign financing as well. I know that Gavin Newsom has outspent his opponent 5-1. So massive amounts of money going into social media, television commercials, all over, and really kind of a grassroots effort, if you will, on the fact of Hollywood being out in support of Gavin Newsom. That is one of the things that apparently has been on his side. Of course, President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was definitely supporting the efforts of Gavin Newsom. Hey, but we want to thank first our partners for this broadcast, and this would not be possible. And this is a brand new company that we've partnered up with, and it's called ilovemyfreedom.com. ilovemyfreedom.com. Now, we've been in discussions with them for a while now and talking about what they do. And look, we know big tech has got a stronghold on everything when it comes to social media and some of our television and news. They've also got a stronghold on clothing, and they don't want you to buy things that represent conservative viewpoints. So I'm telling you right now, this is one way that we can all fight back. ilovemyfreedom.com. Go to this website. They have a bunch of patriotic stuff there. They've got flags, they've got mugs, they've got t-shirts, they've got everything you would want to really voice your opinion of how much you love this country and how much you love your freedom as well. So go to ilovemyfreedom.com. Don't forget to put in that promo code RSBN at checkout, and you'll get a substantial discount as well. ilovemyfreedom.com, proud partner of today's broadcast. We certainly appreciate them getting involved with stuff. They've got some things on there that, quite frankly, they'll, basically you just pay for shipping and they'll send it to you. So ilovemyfreedom.com, ilovemyfreedom.com. As you can see, let me step aside, take a look at the room. We got now the doors at 745 here locally had just opened up. We got some people coming in, which is great. It's always like to see the supporters coming in. I think we're going to have a packed night here. Now, the rally yesterday was just for volunteers. So it was a little smaller, a little bit more intimate. Tonight, it's all about the supporters of Larry Elder and getting together and really pushing this candidate across the finish line. I'm going to walk around here in a little bit and get some idea of why they support Larry Elder for governor, and more importantly, why they want Gavin Newsom out of office. We've got several, we've heard several things about crime, of course, taxes and quality of life. We've seen all of that, but I want to hear it from these people as well. So I'm going to walk around here and hopefully find some people. And I have also a couple people that will be joining me on the stage. Sarah Rodriguez will join me. She is a long-time California resident, a big 2A a gun rights 2A advocate. She's going to join me here and talk a little bit, share her thoughts on the state of California and why, in fact, that Gavin Newsom needs to be recalled and why she picks Larry Elder. So much at stake here. And of course, if you listen to the mainstream media, they're going to tell you that he has no chance of winning, and in that Gavin Newsom, their team is very, very confident right now in the fact that they've got this wrapped up. It's just a matter of getting their voter base out. And of course, the voter base here in California is substantially larger than what the voter base of Republicans is. So I might know they've got us outnumbered here, but if conservatives show up and we get a percentage of independents as well that will show up for this, I think we have a chance to turn it around. So see if I can just follow me over here, Gage. Gage and I have a long night ahead of us to talk to all these people and really find out what it means to be a supporter and why they're here. And really, what are some of the issues of this base that makes them feel so passionate about what they're doing? Gail, I'm going to talk to you. Gail? I want to talk to you real quick. Hey, I tell you what, we're live on the air. I know we came up, you were like, hey, RSBN, that's great.
So much. I've seen so many of your broadcasts at the Trump rallies and just keeping us informed at the Mike Lindell Symposium, and just love it that you guys are not part of the fake news.
Yeah, we might want to have another symposium after this election too. You never know.
I know.
Let's talk about Larry Elder and why he is such a fine candidate for this state, and some of the changes that need to be made to get the state back to what it was. It's the golden state. It's the state that everyone wants to move to and pursue the American dream. Why is Larry Elder the man?
Well, for me, I think it's great that he's pro-life. That was the biggest thing for me. And he's got that slogan, we got a state to save.
Yeah.
I've listened to him for years on the radio. Just feel like he's a familiar face and someone that can be trusted and who's going to get the job done. So he's pro-Second Amendment. He's going to get rid of the vaccine mandates and all the mask mandates and fight for our rights and our freedoms. And that's what is important to me.
I said earlier that I walked around Orange County and it was hard for me to find anybody that actually supported Newsom. It was really hard for me to find somebody that would say, yeah, I want to keep him in office. Do you know anybody that feels the same way? And I feel like we're kind of diverse. I know people of different racial backgrounds and everything, but I could not find one person that can defend Larry Elder.
Well,
or defend Newsom, rather.
I worked the recall since at day one, getting signatures, and I was surprised to find so many people. Well, not surprised. There were a few people that were like, oh, I love what he's doing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how can you even say that? He's terrible. He's ruining this state. But most of my friends are anti-Newsom, and so I don't have a lot of people that I know that are Newsom lovers, but there were some that I found during gathering signatures that just were true blue to him.
I think they're just so set in their ways as far as thinking that they just cannot vote for a conservative. It's just against who they are, even though they're on the ship that is slowly going down.
Yeah, I think that part of it is they just hate Trump, and anything that represents, righteousness or standing up for freedoms, they just equate that with Trump, and they don't like Trump, and so they're just anti that entire movement, whoever it is.
Hopefully we can get some of the independents in all of this can come our way, because that's the key of getting people that were kind of in the middle, that we can get them to see that Larry Elder is a very viable person to lead this state.
Well, we definitely had Democrats and independents signing the recall petition, and when Newsom's side says it's a Republican movement, that's a lie. It's not even true.
We're in a very tight area there on the podium and make sure that we're in the right way. Okay, so the key is to get some independents and some Democrats that agree the state needs a new direction. Okay, the big question is, do you think we're going to have results tonight? I know that I've seen some people, I read some of the voting regulations here in California, and it seems like we may not, you can mail in your vote today. And so what does that mean? It's not received until maybe Thursday or Friday and then count it?
Well, I've been observing at our local ROV in San Bernardino County, and I asked them that question, like, how long can people continue to mail in their ballots? And they said they have to be postmarked by today at 8 o'clock, and then they'll continue to count until the 21st, any ballots that come in. But they have to have this postmark, so I don't know.
I don't know. It's going to be a long night, though. We got a band. We got some music. It seems to be exciting right now. It kind of feels like a rally, if you will. And
party atmosphere, and that's what we're here to do. Regardless of what happens, this effort has been huge, and we've worked hard, and we want to just celebrate the fact that, there are those that are strong in this movement and are wanting to see change. So we're celebrating all the hard work we've done.
And I will say, media-wise, you have all the local media here in Los Angeles here. You got Fox, you got CNN, you got some others. So this is, all eyes are on California right now. And there's a lot of people watching us on the East Coast and in the central time zones are saying, look, I don't know if I can stay up this late. I got to find out who's going to win this this kind of, is he going to get recalled? Is Elder going to win? Let's be honest with you. There's no any person on the ballot, if the recall goes through, that's going to beat Larry Elder. He is clearly the winner in that category.
Yes, definitely. There isn't anybody else that can beat him. He's the only one that has been the leader from the very beginning when he said that he was going to run, he's the only one that's been in that position to be the one that can beat Newsom.
He's always said we have a country to save, but now we have a state to save, and that's the words of Larry Elder, not mine, his. That's one of his things. He always says, is this mic on? Is this mic on?
Yeah, he definitely has been saying that we have a state to save, and they say as California goes, so goes the nation. So I'm just praying that this state will be a beacon of hope and a light and cause change, a sweep throughout the entire nation. So I know all eyes are on us right now.
Of course, the polls here close at 8 o'clock local time, and so right after that, we should start to get some of the early numbers coming in. I would imagine you guys are going to have some of the coverage on the screens.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm thinking if it's a blowout, we'll know right away, but if it's close, it may take a few days to sort it out.
Okay, did you drive by any polling places today? I drove by a couple here in Orange County, and there were probably 200 to 300 people in line. It snaked around the building, so the turnout is huge today.
I think a lot of the Republican voters are same day they want to vote on the election day. I had a friend voting at the City Hall in Costa Mesa, and she said it was a long line, but she was determined to stand in that line and get her vote heard. I love voting the day of an event. I don't like to mail anything in. I don't want to drop anything in a box. I want to go ahead and stand in line, and I want to vote on election day. There's something so American about that. It is. It's exciting. I mean, it's part of the process. It's your civic duty, and I think people just think that that's the best way to go. That's the safest way to go, especially with all these mail-in ballots. I mean, what are they doing with the ballots? I mean, hopefully we're trusting that they're counting them, but we've already heard in California there's some issues, so we'll have to see how it all plays out.
On behalf of everyone at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you so much for being a nice supporter.
I'm so thankful for all of you. Love you guys, and I hope I can make it to a Trump rally someday.
Well, you should come. September 25th, Macon, Georgia. Trump will be there. We'll be there as well. And also October 9th in Des Moines, Iowa. So
well, hopefully you'll come out to California someday.
He needs to come to California. You never know.
I hope so. But yeah, Arizona's close. I've been wanting to go to one if he goes there, but the lines are so long. I'm thinking, oh, am I going to get in?
Get in. Just come on. Tell me no right side. You'll get it right.
Okay. I'll use that for sure. That's the ticket, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. I'll let you get back to work, do what you're going to do. Wow. A lot of people have come in. We turn our back for a few minutes, and this is what happens. I think we're going to have a packed house in here as everybody is thank you so much. Everyone is anticipating, really, and what he said, I really found it hard to find somebody that voted against this recall. And I'm not saying that I stayed in my own little bubble either. I went to different areas to do that. Can you mind talking to us? I'm with Brian Glenn with the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're broadcasting live. What brings you here today? I mean, obviously Larry Elder, right? But what about Larry Elder that kind of drew you to him as a candidate?
I believe in everything that he believes in. I think our city, our schools are a total disrepair. And I don't like CRT being taught to our children. It's indoctrination. I don't like the homeless situation. It is absolutely abhorrent. It's filthy.
I don't think people that live outside California have any idea what she's talking about. The homeless problem here is something like I've never seen. It almost looks like a third world country when you go to certain parts of town. And that is a total, it's mind blowing. And people say, well, I lived in California 20 years ago. Yeah, we had a homeless problem then, but nothing like we have today. And this has not been something that just popped up the last 4 years. This is democratic policies in place that really feed that homeless train.
Yes. It's obvious that Democrats don't care about any one of our people, especially out on the street. There's thousands of them, and it's just not safe for the communities, not safe for the homeless.
It's not safe for them either.
No, it's horrible.
Let's talk about taxes. Taxes are a big thing right now. If this infrastructure bill, if it got passed, it would put Californians on the hook of about 60% of your income. That your tax 60%. That's horrible. I don't care. I don't care how you look at it. Let's talk about taxes. What needs to be done here?
Oh, we need to. We're the highest taxed state in the country, and we need to get our homeless off the street and get them working, so they are contributors to society as well. So this is off the topic just a little bit, but here you had Barack Obama and several others saying vote no on the recall, but not one of those individuals, including Barack Obama, said anything about what Newsom has done to help California. All they said was vote no.
It's incredible that the people that are against this recall won't give us any reasons why Gavin Newsom should stay in office. Oh, so he's done an amazing job on crime. He's done an amazing job on homeless. He's done an amazing job on quality of life here in California. He's failed at every attempt to make this place a great place to live and raise a family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what makes this a nonpartisan election, right? You've got Hispanics that voted 60% plus in the last election to put Newsom in office, and now it's all switched. So that everybody, Republicans, Democrats, Asian Americans, Hispanics are all now disappointed with what Newsom has done. He's done nothing good for our country and for our state.
I think the magical question is, will we know the results tonight? Look, considering a lot of ballots, it could take days to count. It could take weeks to count. Who knows?
Oh, that's so sick.
It does make you sick to your stomach. I think they need to change that, where election night is election night, and that's it. We kind of saw what happened in the 2020 election when things were just able to jump in days and afterwards, and even weeks afterwards. So, well, we appreciate, yes.
Yeah. And one comment, and the early results, because the Democrats, those that like Newsom, may be voting early, and that may be the early results. So, as you indicated, in the days and a week or however long it takes, that's when the real numbers are going to come out.
Yeah. And absolutely. And of course, Democrats tend to mail in ballots, and Republicans tend to vote day of. So I think initially you will see the pendulum swing throughout the night, showing that maybe Newsom has a long way to go, and then next year, Newsom could appear to have a huge lead. We just don't know at this point.
We don't know. We just know that it's needed. We know that every reason in the book points to it needs to change. We need to turn this state around, and this state is a leader for the country. And we need to turn the country around.
We need to turn the country around. What city do you guys live in right now?
Anaheim Hills.
Beautiful place, Anaheim Hills. Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming out here. I'm sure I'll see you around. And yeah, absolutely. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us. And that's just some of the examples of what we're going to hear tonight. People definitely want change here in the state. And like I said earlier, it's really tough to find someone who is for keeping Gavin Newsom in office. It seems like some of the radical policies that you're seeing right now, I don't know how people can support some of that in terms of reasons why he needs to stay. If it's the economy, is it homelessness, is it crime, is it immigration? We really haven't talked much about that today. Immigration is a huge issue, and of course in the Texas we've been down to the border, we see exactly what illegal immigration looks like in terms of flooding the cities there along the border and going into the schools and really disrupting a lot of our normal everyday life. So that immigration is definitely something we need to take a look at as well. So we got the band playing. You can't beat that. It actually feels like a festive night here in Costa Mesa. And like you said, if you're just now joining us, the doors just open here. Now the polls don't close until 8 o'clock local time. You like us? Well, I'm going to talk to you real quick. Come on over here. Come on over here. We're live on there. So we're out here. Obviously, you're here supporting Larry Elder, right?
We got to take California back. I'm actually really happy that we were able to get the votes for the recall, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy you guys are here because you guys actually broadcast real stuff. I do not like watching anything else. RSBN gives good coverage of everything, of the news and of their actual, when Trump was speaking back when the elections were going on, and I really appreciate you guys. Thanks.
We thank you for watching us. Now, obviously, you live in California.
Orange County.
Orange County. This has been a long road to get to where you're at right now. I remember going out to Ventura, doing the kind of stop Gavin Newsom, getting the signatures for this. What does it feel like, someone that you've been doing it from the very beginning, to be here tonight in this ballroom in Costa Mesa?
I feel really good about it because, to be honest with you, I've signed every recall petition. I think we've had like 3 before we got this one, and this one, thanks to coronavirus. So thanks or not thanks, but to be honest with you, like, we were able to get this one through because of the extra time. And I'm actually really happy that this one actually went through. And I personally think California is red. I personally think California.
A lot of people say that.
California is red. It's very red. Orange County is deep red. We're like redder than everyone gives us credit for. And I think that there is some weird things going on personally, but we can't prove it. So I personally think that regardless of who wins, there should be litigation. You know, whoever wins, like even if there's a yes, there should be litigation. If there's a no, there should be litigation, because we need to get to the bottom of whatever happens here. Like there should be something, there should be audit, there should be an investigation, there should be litigation.
Don't you think every state should have a full forensic audit? I mean, regardless of the outcome, because we want to know that these elections are fair, they have integrity, and they're really, I mean, if we don't have fair and transparent elections, we don't have a country, right?
Absolutely. Like I think that if Democrats and Republicans, we both care about fair elections, right? I think that if Democrats think everything's fair, they should be okay with forensic audits. Same with us. Everyone, that should be a bipartisan issue. We should be okay with fair elections, and full forensic audits should be a bipartisan issue, which both parties should be okay with. So personally, I am of the belief that there should be audits of every state in every election, because that's what is going to give the people the confidence that these things are fair. Yeah. So that's what I think. And you know what? It just should probably be written into law. The legislature should probably get writing into getting us some full forensic audits after every election.
Why not?
It should be into the law.
There should
be a law about forensic audits after every vote.
Okay, the last time California recalled a governor was back in 2003. That's when you got Arnold, and you got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, he was more of a California Republican than a true conservative. Tonight, California, if this goes through, you're going to get a true conservative Republican, and that's something that you have not had since the great Ronald Reagan.
He's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. He was the one Republican guy that got in.
Well, he's kind of a California Republican.
Republican, but he was a Republican, and that was a recall election where there was like hundreds of fucking candidates. I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Hundreds of candidates.
Family show there.
And then Arnold was like the most famous one. Yeah. Larry is
the celebrity. That's true. The celebrity got Arnold into this race, and I think Larry Elder definitely with the name recognition and all that stuff.
Name recognition. Like even my grandma, who like I took to vote today because she's elderly. I took her to vote, and I'm like, she's like, who do you want to vote for? I don't want Gavin there, but I want the black guy.
There you go. Well, which, by the way,
that's Larry Elder.
But
I told her that's Larry Elder. Go vote for him. Then.
But with that said, that becomes the first black governor in this state. This is huge. This has huge ramifications.
Something that Democrats and Republicans get behind, because that is the first black governor in California. That's like diversity. That's
diversity. And that's what the state is all about, right? Diversity.
Dude, we're like the most progressive state, right? We should have won we won the first black governor.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for your time. Thanks for being a loyal viewer.
You're doing a great job. You guys are the best. I appreciate your channel, and I will continue watching it.
Thank you very much. There you go. That's another. Hey, that's like the third or the fourth. Let's go ahead and turn it to the podium real quickly for a few words.
It's my honor to be chairman of the Republican Party of Orange County, where we have done more direct voter contact than any county in the state. Over 350,000 direct voter contacts by phone, by walking, by mail, you name it, we did it. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be discouraged. You may see some early returns here at 8 o'clock tonight. Those are all the ballots that were turned in by those who did not want the recall because they did all their get out the vote by mail. Our people got out the vote over the last weekend at vote centers by turning their ballots in and by going to the polls today. I don't know if you've seen the news, but up in Hancock Park today, not exactly a conservative bastion, there was an hour-and-a-half wait to get through the lines. In Yorba Linda this morning, an hour-and-a-half wait. In Garden Grove at noon, an hour and 15-minute wait. In Costa Mesa, both at the City Hall and the Senior Center, an hour-and-a-half wait this afternoon. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are our voters. I can tell you that in Orange County, as of this afternoon, Democrats and Republicans were tied in the turnout number, with no party preference following behind. That is amazing, because that does not even count any of the ballots made or turned in over the weekend. By the time you see the ballots at about 11 o'clock tonight, all Republicans, all no party preference who want to recall this governor, and even Democrats who want to recall this governor, their ballots will be in. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight to support this recall, for supporting Larry Elder, the candidate who has the best ability to tell everybody and communicate with everybody who doesn't normally vote on the center right why this state needs a change. You know, Gavin Newsom, his kids got to go to school when your kids didn't. He got to go to restaurants when you couldn't. When you or your kids got laid off and couldn't even get through the EDD phone lines, Gavin sent billions to Nigerian princes and prisoners. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a crisis of homelessness, a crisis of crime. This is Gavin Newsom's time to go. We are going to do it. We've got a long night ahead. Enjoy the food, enjoy the drink. You'll be hearing from other dignitaries throughout the evening. Larry will be down late this evening as we see the trends. Be here, be loyal, we'll win it. On to victory.
All right, there are some encouraging words.
We're going to pray first, okay? Gosh, I love that giant Larry head right there. Can you turn that around? That's awesome. All right, you guys, before I pray, it's pretty awesome. If you would have listened to Joe Biden yesterday, if you would have listened to him, that's all the endorsement that you need to vote for Larry Elder is to listen to Joe Biden yesterday. That was crazy. But you guys, let's pray together, because it's going to take not only the hard work that all of you have been doing in support, but Larry and I believe, and the campaign believes, that it's going to take the grace and the power of God. So let's do this, okay? Heavenly Father, we come before you, and we would admit that none of us have got the power to overcome the machine of the California Democrat apparatus. Entrenched, empowered. Father, we pray that you would dismantle everything that they have sought to do yesterday, today, everything up until now, all of the spin, all of the stuff. And we ask you, God, that you would come upon California like you did so long ago. We have not forgotten that it was in this state that you began with the Catholic missionaries, with Father Sarah, that dedicated this state to your hands. We thank you that this is the state that not only produced revivals in the spiritual sense, but economic awakenings. We think of the aviation and the computer industry and so much more, all circled around and encompassing this great state of the gold rush, state of Ronald Reagan, the state of so much that led the world. And now, God, we pray that you would hear our cry and our effort, that you would get the glory, God, that you'd protect and watch over Larry, and God, that you would tonight, that we wouldn't have to wait for some court to decide this stuff. Lord, that we wouldn't have to wait for some days or weeks for ballots to be found and all that kind of junk that we saw back in November. But Father God, we pray that even tonight, there would be such a massive turnout among independents, among Democrats, among Republicans to say we've had enough, that we want our lives back, we want our schools back, we want the public square back, we want California back. So God, we're asking you tonight that California would come back to you. And God, we dedicate this night and we pray, we ask of you to grant victory. That we don't trust in politics and we don't trust in our money, we don't trust in our stuff. We trust in the God of heaven and earth, and we thank you, God, that you are the one that invented California in the first place. You're awesome. And we're asking you to take the state back. We pray it in Jesus' name, and all God's people said, amen. God bless you guys.
All right, that was a few words from Pastor Jack Hibbs, who is a pastor in Encino Hills here in Southern California. Welcome. If you're just now joining us, we are live here in Costa Mesa, California at the Larry Elders headquarters. Now, this is kind of my impromptu co-host for the night, Sarah Rodriguez, a friend of mine, 2A advocate, California residents. She's very outspoken. You also work with some other organizations. Turning Point, I think, is one of them. So you're always doing stuff like that. So we have a long night ahead of us. But you live here. You've seen all the efforts. What do you think we can expect? What do you see on the streets?
Well, it's hard to figure out what we can expect between fraudulent things going on and so much spirit towards the Republican side. It's very confusing right now.
It is very confusing right now. And of course, we all have said this from the moment we came on today, is we hope that we have, and Pastor Jack Hibbs just said that, we don't want this to end up in the courts. We want to know the decision tonight, because we sometimes know what happens when this goes out of the control of what we have here.
Right. I think we're still seeing that in the presidential elections. So, it used to be where we knew right away. Once it gets out of those hands, we're kind of in limbo.
Let's pan the crowd real quickly, Gage. Give them an idea. We've got a sizable amount of people in here right now that has just showed up. So we're going to move up here in front of the podium just so we can kind of get a little bit of light on it. Like I said, this has been a kind of a fluent day today, and of course broadcast. But it's nice to have live music here. It's nice to be able to, it has very much a rally feel, and of course all of the viewers here at Right Side Broadcasting know that we are the official Trump rally headquarters as far as broadcasting. So this is our wheelhouse, Sarah. We like to have fun right now.
It's just getting started, so there's a whole line of cars outside.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, set the scene for us outside. What does it look like?
There's a lot of people coming in. There's a lot of people in the lobby waiting to come in. So I think there's going to be a bigger turnout. Okay, so as a Californian, what has been some of the key issues for you of why Newsom needs to go? We've heard homelessness, obviously a big problem. What he did with COVID is another problem as well. Absolutely, yeah. The wildfires that are being mismanaged throughout California every year. So many different things, mostly the homelessness. COVID was absolutely so weird, just with his own little system and our school systems. I mean, he needs to go. Yeah.
I talked to a business owner today. I walked by, I was on Main Street, Huntington Beach. She was outside doing some work. I said, hey, what's your thoughts on this recall? And I can't repeat exactly what she said, but she was not happy. So I can imagine there's a lot of small businesses here in California that if they made it through the shutdowns, it's by the grace of God, they certainly don't want another one to come around.
Yeah, absolutely not. And we had, thank God, a lot of the California residences have been able to support small businesses, but some of them didn't make it. But no, businesses, retail stores, they can't withhold another lockdown, especially with the mandates, the vaccine mandates. They're going to run out of employees. They're going to run out of customers. It's a disaster.
And let's talk about the price of gas. Yesterday, the average price of gas here in the state of California was $4.40. Today, it's $4.39 a gallon. We dropped a penny. Way to go. That's outrageous. And a lot of that has to do with the amount of tax that's tacked on each gallon of gas.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting to be, I paid $6 the other day, and
how does anybody live like that? If let's just say you're in sales and your job has you driving all around checking on clients, do you just blow $100 a day in gasoline and to fill up your tank?
Easy. Dropping kids off, you blow $100 in gas a day. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And not to mention like the groceries, and that's all been inflated. It's insane.
And of course, some of the regulations, I know that fire season is almost the next season here. That's a big deal here in California, is maintaining our forestry and making sure that we don't have these historic fires that have destroyed so many people's homes.
Yeah, it's absolutely devastating. You look at how much money is put towards forest management and deforesting and maintaining the fire roads, and none of it's done, and they have an excuse for everything. But where's the money? And then as soon as a disaster happens, they ask for more money and more money and more money. And people are still, I mean, we had the Northern California fires, and people are still homeless without homes, with no help, with no aid, and it's been given to them. It's crazy. It
is crazy. We turn our attention real quickly to immigration now. Being a resident of Texas, and I've been down to the border more times than I can count, that is a big issue along border towns right there in South Texas. Now tell me what it's like here, living in Southern California, obviously a border state. You've got right up to Mexico. What do you see things?
Well, there's a lot more crime. And a lot of people coming in boats across the border through San Diego. For some reason, I think LA is a sanctuary city or county, and so they're able to go there, get help with no limitations of their rights, so we're being suppressed with everything that we have, and they're given,
I don't think any of us are against legal immigration. We're all for legal immigration, absolutely. But we're talking about the mass migration of people coming across the border that are unvetted. We don't know who they are. We don't know what their intentions are. And we're seeing them not just from like Mexico, but we're seeing them from all over the world. They come through Central America, up through Mexico into our states.
Yeah. Very rarely do you see Mexicans actually coming across the border. They're usually like from Venezuela, Cuba, and they're coming across the border in the hundreds.
Okay, let's talk about your gun rights here in the state of California and what could be up for grab. This is your wheelhouse here. It's Gun Talk 101 with Sarah Rodriguez. Let's break it down. Tell me what you can do in the state, what you can't do, and what perhaps the progressive left wants to do.
Well, basically, you can't do anything.
Okay.
Thank God we have some amazing sheriffs who control our counties. And so basically, any kind of CCW is held through each county, and we have some really, really, really great sheriffs that issue CCWs. So thank God we do have a carry state. But as far as which weapons we're allowed to own, we have a crazy weird list and different laws that make it pretty much impossible to own anything semi-automatic or anything, with any kind of features.
Now, I know in Texas we just did constitutional carry. A lot of, obviously, the gun grabbers do not like that at all, constitutional carry. But is that allowed here? Is there a constitutional carry here in this state?
No, absolutely not. You do have to go through quite an extensive background check per the county that you live in, and it's up to the sheriff whether they want to issue it or not. Some counties you don't have to have a just cause. Some counties you do.
So I would imagine if the left gets their ways, of course, they're always going to come for your guns. So I think just for gun rights, I think Larry Elder is clearly your choice for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you could see, like, the past couple of years, especially since COVID had started, the guns that are being sold in California supersede all of the entire country. So
All right, let's set the stage here real quickly. We are live here at the campaign headquarters. Now, the polls close at 8 o'clock local time, and it's 8:21 now, which means the polls are closed. So we should start trickling in some numbers as far as how many people have actually backed this recall and how many people have been against it. And of course, the other category that really becomes irrelevant if the recall is not passed is if Larry Elder has the majority a number of votes to get in. And the way it works, Sarah, is if you got to have 50% plus one vote. That's 50% plus one vote to get Newsom out. If that fails, question 2 on the ballot is negated. End of story. Newsom's in. And I believe the next election is 2024. I think this candidate here, if Elder was to get in, would serve until January 2nd, I believe, of 2023, I think that's the technical name. So there's a lot at stake here, and of course, you said it before. If California, everyone's watching us right now.
Right. Yeah, everybody's watching. Everybody's rooting for him to leave, and I'm hoping that this happens.
I think we all, and of course, President Trump issued a statement earlier today, if not yesterday, and if in my mind, it's been kind of a crazy couple of days, about the potential for shenanigans happening in this election. I'm hoping no, but based upon prior experience, you can't rule it out.
Well, something that Governor Newsom had done in the presidential election is he actually switched everybody to permanent mail-in ballots, which put all those ballots out in the mail, and then normally if you register as an absentee, you get one in the mail. So it put all those extra ballots, and they also mailed additional ballots out to the same people. So it kind of was a perfect storm on their part, and they did that again this time for this recall.
And let's just hope that the voter turnout today for Republicans in person is strong. I was telling the viewers earlier, drove around Newport Beach, a couple voting places there. Long lines. I mean, there's people voting. I'm not sure where you went in Orange County, but did you see the same thing?
Yes, I did. I actually voted today in person. I left my ballot at home and had them print me one out because a lot of people were bringing their ballots to them, and a lot of people have reported. I've gotten a lot of people saying that they had, when they went to go vote, they had reported that they've already voted. So it's been very, very bizarre.
Yeah, it's been bizarre. All right, let's show some of the crowd here that's going on right now. I know they've got the monitors up there. They're showing different various news coverage. I was in the hotel earlier, and I actually had an opportunity to watch some of this coverage. But I want to thank our partners also of the night, our good friends over at mypillow.com. Sarah, I don't know about you, but I have so much appreciation for what Mike Lindell has done for this country and what he's done for America in terms of voter integrity, in terms of fighting to make sure that every voice is heard and that we get rid of some of the voting discrepancies. So we want you right now to go to mypillow.com. That's mypillow.com, and put that promo code RSBN at checkout, and you'll get up to 66% off. Folks, this is David versus Goliath right now. This is big tech versus little RSBN. This is big government versus, the grassroots efforts. And Mike Lindell is certainly a part of that grassroots effort. So go to the website, mypillow.com. That's mypillow.com. Put the promo code RSBN at checkout, and you'll get up to 66% off for 5 points and control the board. Sarah, I always wanted to be a game show host, so I've always wanted to say that. For 5 points and control the board, My Pillow could be the most comfortable pillow in the world, right?
It is. I sleep well at night. I definitely support Mike Lindell.
That's 5 points and control the board there. Definitely go check it out. They got dog beds. They got the slippers, which I know it's going to be a long night here. I wish I had the slippers on my feet because we're going to be standing up all night. So I can imagine. So go check them out at mypillow.com. And don't forget, they have mystore.com as well. You can go on there, all kinds of patriotic things. Question for 10 points and control the board, Sarah. How many flags are in your neighborhood? Do you ever drive by somebody's house, and if they don't have an American flag, you're like, who did you vote for?
100% questionable. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. My neighborhood, fortunately, is full of an American flags.
Well, if your neighborhood's not full of flags, then go to mystore.com and pick up one of those American flags and put them up in your neighbor's yard. They'll appreciate it. And matter of fact, for your liberal friends, just buying a My Pillow, just go buy them one and say, hey, this is from me to you. Hopefully you'll get a better night's sleep and you'll wake up probably a more educated person, right? And maybe you'll start to see things a little clearer now. Maybe perhaps you'll be a conservative after a good night's sleep. I don't know. But Mike Lindell certainly has products like that. So go to mypillow.com, put that promo code RSBN, and you'll get up to 66% off, because it is about getting a good night's sleep.
Absolutely, it definitely is. It makes you a lot more happy.
And don't you love Mike Lindell? Let's just be honest with you. A lot of people, late night talk shows and the news shows, they love to make fun of him and make parodies of him. Of course, he was on Jimmy Kimmel and actually had a relatively good dialogue between Jimmy and in a certain degree. But he just sticks his neck out there for Americans.
He absolutely does, and it takes a lot, especially someone with a company that doesn't, care that they're, standing up for their values.
And his faith?
Oh, I love his faith. He's absolutely wonderful. So definitely support Mike Lindell.
Sarah said it, and she's got control of the board. So if she said go support Mike Lindell, go do it. I love the music here. I feel like we have a celebration. We got some Make America Great Again hats over there, which is pretty cool. Kind of a lively crowd here. We'll step aside. I don't want you to step in the next. We'll go over here and let you see behind us. The crowd has filled in quite somewhat since we stepped aside about 20 minutes ago. So these people, they all want to hear pretty much what we want to hear. Later tonight is that Larry Elder is now your next governor of California. How great would that sound?
That would be music to my ears.
Anything other than that is garbage to my ears at that point. This is what I want to hear.
Everything's garbage if Newsom stays in office.
And what's amazing is that I haven't seen anybody really come out and give positive things about Newsom. Like who's praising him right now? The only thing they say is, well, if you get rid of Newsom, you're going to get some Trump supporter in there.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to turn that image towards, what they did with Trump. But I don't see any support for Newsom here, especially even in the Democratic side. He's got Joe Biden.
Speaking of Joe Biden, he was in town yesterday in Long Beach. I've seen the video of this. It seems like they had more people trolling him than actual Biden supporters there. I've yet to see a Biden supporter waving a Biden flag. Matter of fact, I see the opposite, Sarah. I see F Joe Biden. I see Biden not my president. I see all of that. So I want to know, where are all these people who voted for Joe Biden?
They're either 6 feet under, or they are, multiple votes. Who knows? I don't know. But no, definitely doesn't have any support here. I think California has been the most vocal about, being conservative, being Republican and red and proud and American loving. We've been super loud this last couple of years, and it's really, really showing. But yeah, he didn't get a very good welcome here yesterday. I
love to see the rallies that you guys had in Beverly Hills. Those were something else. I mean, Beverly Hills, you got Los Angeles, you would think the most woke part of the state, and you have these Trump rallies and these impromptu grab an American flag, grab a Trump flag, and just go walk. It was amazing to see this past summer.
Oh my gosh, yes. The turnouts, thousands and thousands of people, different colors, different races, different genders. Everybody was just out, and they're happy. They're not disruptive. They are happy. Everybody's just loving America and wanting our freedom. So I love seeing that.
Talk about freedom. Come in here. We have also a new partner in all of this. The company is called ilovemyfreedom.com. Now think about that for a second. If you're going to name a company, ilovemyfreedom.com, what do you expect to see? Patriotic gear?
Yeah, absolutely.
UA stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Faith-based stuff?
Yes. Tell us what it is.
Tell us what it is. I'll tell you what it is. They're a new partner for us for this broadcast, and we're so happy that they're here. I love myfreedom.com. Now, big tech controls a lot of stuff. The big news media, big tech company, which, by the way, we'll talk about how many times you've been banned on social media. I follow you, and I know you have been suppressed. You got a huge following. You've been shadow banned. But I love myfreedom.com gives you the opportunity to support conservative companies. Now, imagine this. We talked about having a flag in your front yard, but when you see a guy, a girl, anybody that has a flag on their shirt, a t-shirt that says, in God we trust, or USA, or a big eagle or something like that, that just screams.
Not terrorist. Not terrorist.
Yeah.
But no, one of us. Yeah, and I love it. I love it.
Okay, so go to this website, check it out. They're offering all kinds of special deals. They've got things where you just pay shipping and you get this t-shirt for free. You just pay shipping and you get this flag for free. So go check it out. I love myfreedom.com. I love myfreedom.com, and put in the promo code RSBN and you'll get a special promo code, a discount that's associated with that particular product you're buying. So this is one way, guys. I need you to help me out on this. We got to support these companies that step up to support us here. So go to that website, shop away, find something you like. If someone in your house right now doesn't have a patriotic shirt that says "In God We Trust" or "Trump's my president," they got all kinds of stuff on there. Buy them something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I can't have enough patriotic themed t-shirts and flags and mugs and gold coins. It's all there. I love myfreedom.com. Go check out the website and put that promo code RSBN at checkout. Asian Man, this song, by the way, it reminds me of the song "Can't Buy Me Love."
Oh yeah,
remember that with Patrick?
It reminds me of Boston Powers.
I love it. I just want to dance here, but I'm going to save everybody the terror of me dancing on stage right now. That will be highly removed from this building. But there it is. Fox News is reporting that results soon to come in. Right now, it looks like 67.4 no, 32.2 or 32.6 yes. So right now, it looks like it's not going towards a recall. But we kind of knew this would happen, though, Sarah, because, they report all of the mail-in ballots first, and then some of the other precincts in the day, and it all will fill in. But right now, Fox News is reporting that it's a 67.4% say no to this Gavin Newsom recall. It doesn't scare me right now. I'm not discouraged at all.
Well, I've been a little discouraged myself, when this first started. So I'm hoping for a wonderful outcome, but I'm not surprised at the numbers right now.
I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to step off this podium, Gage, and we can make our way down there. We can see if we can talk to some people. Be careful not to step up here. All right, as we transition down to the floor here, see if we can talk to some people and be able to walk around a little bit. How you guys doing? Yeah, you like? Hey, can we talk to you guys? We're live on the air. Sarah, come on in here.
Okay.
All right, so where are you guys from?
From Irvine.
Irvine, all right.
Yes.
So obviously, big Larry Elder fan, are you obviously, right?
I'm trying to unite the country. I want ideas to unite, because no matter who wins tonight, we're still in California. So we need to, like this hat says.
It says, only hope for our nation is to love. Let's go to the camera so we can see that. One another. Hope our country to love one another. So that's true. Okay, so right now the polls, we were just looking at it. It's not favorable now for the recall, but it's early. It's early, very early. How optimistic are you that this is going to go through?
I'm going to be optimistic, or we're going to lead after no matter who wins. We're going to lead with new ideas, bold, fresh ideas. The media, like yourself, can breathe in like this, and that's it. We landed a man on the moon in 10 years. We can defeat anything, but the first thing we got to defeat is hate. By the end of 10 years, we'll do it.
Yeah, there we go. Well, God bless. Thanks for coming out here, fist bump.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Enjoy the night.
Yes.
Dance a little bit if you feel like, too. You can dance too. I can do that. You can do that as well. We were talking about being, I'm not discouraged by seeing that, because we kind of knew that might be the situation where the numbers are going to go back and forth for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are still voting, or well, if the polls are closed, but they voted last minute. So we'll see.
I've got some friends that just came on. Come on, Simone, come on over here. Come on in here. Simone, Sarah, Simone. We'll get you in here for you worked in Hollywood. You lived in California. Tonight is a night that you can change history.
Yeah, we're ready for a change. We need it. It's I've been in this state off and on for 25 years, and it has been deteriorating slowly but surely. But in the last 10 years, it's been like a landslide.
Now you're up in LA County area, and we didn't spend a lot of time this particular trip up there. What are you seeing? Are you seeing a lot of signs that say, recall Newsom? Because I know in Orange County, we were talking about that earlier, we see a lot of that down here. What is the vibe? Do you see that in LA County?
We've been seeing parades, like car parades, American flags, lots of American flags in front of houses. And what I really love is I've seen this rally with the Hispanic community that's been amazing.
Now, why do you think that is?
Because most of them are first or second generation immigrants, and their families moved to America for freedom. And they're seeing their freedom taken away from them very quickly. And they're also seeing, with the borders open, they're seeing people come in who are not doing it legally, and their families had to do it legally. So there's just been a huge movement, and most of these, from what I can see, most of the Latino population has been supporting Larry Elder.
You see that as well?
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely, yeah. Like she said, and then the cost of living, we might as well just go back to where, to Mexico because of the lack of freedom.
That's what happens when you put a couple thousand people in a room. We get people live on the air. So let's talk about the things that affect you the most where you live. Is it the taxes? Is it the crime? Is it the homeless? Is it all of it?
For me, it has been, it's been all of it. But in the last couple of years, it's been the crime, it's been the homelessness, and they go hand in hand. So we lived in the Valley, which is like Van Nuys, and we had a guy, we were actually trying to sell our house, and the first day our house was on the market, a guy pulled up a mattress right in front of our house and slept there while we had our open house. And I called.
Oh my God.
I called the city, and this was, people were driving by. We had a for sale sign in front of our house, and I called the city and I explained the situation, and I said, how long until someone comes out and deals with this situation? And they said 6 weeks. 6 weeks at the minimum. So, but last summer when there were the riots, BLM, Antifa, there was all sorts of commotion in the Valley, and I think our stress level and our anxiety level was off the charts. I mean, sleeping at night, hearing booms and bangs and rattles, and it's just not a peaceful place to live.
And then let's talk about the educational system. We haven't talked about that at all for you. Huge. I mean, the indoctrination of our kids on things that none of us can agree with. As parents, what does that mean?
Well, I will tell you, I've been watching our California legislature session ended last Friday, and I was watching the bills go through. And one of the bills was mandatory critical race theory to graduate from high school. That passed easily.
What do you see when your kids in Orange County?
Well, I actually pulled my kids out of the public school, and I am homeschooling just because of that. We live in a very conservative area, and our school district's pretty supportive, and they've gone after the state several times for the mandates and the criteria that they're being taught. However, the surrounding areas, they have no choice. They have no chance because the school districts are so for, the indoctrination.
That's where this comes in. So that's why this election is so important, that we are able to turn it around a little bit, because if our youth are indoctrinated, they go on thinking the wrong way, and that affects policy and everything else. So it's awesome. Have you had a chance to walk around? I mean,
I want to introduce you to Siaka.
Siaka, hey, how you doing? Brian Glenn, Right Side Broadcasting.
Yeah, Siaka Masco. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
So
Great.
It's live right now. Yeah. What's up, Zoe?
Oh, yep.
He's been on before.
Yeah, or Grace.
Siaka
No, or
has
Grace.
an amazing story that I think you'll enjoy.
Talk about your story. I don't. Sarah Rodriguez. So we're going to get this amazing story. So tell us why you're here and why you support Larry Elder.
Well, I am here actually about a year ago, last July. The first thing that I ever went out to do, because when I started getting sick and tired, was I drove down to Long Beach from North Hollywood, California, and I went to a recall event, and one of the ladies actually checking the names was the one who did it. We're in front of the Sheriff's Department, so we're here, and to see full circle we made it here is really, really, it's really wow. But I guess what happened is, you know, I'm an actor in Hollywood, and so getting more active and louder, I went to DC on the 6th, and on June 10th, the FBI raided my house. They raided my house, guns drawn, didn't get arrested, wasn't arrested or charged with anything. It was just that shock and awe scare tactics that they were doing. And now I filed a lawsuit against the FBI, Christopher Wray, the agents that came into my home, the United States government. We're stepping closer, yeah. So, you know, they're coming after normal people, and normal people need to step up and fight back. And they came my way, and it just happened, the situations work out that I could stand up and fight back in this way. And so we're doing a class action against them. And
I love when they say, well, you were at the Capitol on January 6th. I'm like, yeah, so was 300,000 million other people. Like, you know, of course. Now, I was not in the Capitol, but of course we were at the Capitol.
Even in that, right, because that was the whole setup. Because that 72-year-old guy that got raided himself, people were being let in like it was a concert. He got led to the bathroom by a guard and stood in the bathroom
And
line.
there's so many videos of that happening right now, and it's amazing. You could go to YouTube, search it, and you could probably and find that video that he's talking about. But yeah, so tonight's very important.
Tonight's great because what we're setting the tone for the country, right? We're setting the tone. Just the fact that we got here, and I think that it's really important to point out, the fact that we're here shows what the people are capable of. We got a Gascon recall going in LA County right now. That's going to show what the people are capable of. Everyone needs to step up and find their own way and their own voice, and even going out and setting up a table for 2-3 hours at a time when you want to change your surroundings is possible. We are showing that regardless of the outcome, we're showing that we know what they're going to do. We know they set up, they don't bring people in here. The president shows up for this, but don't show up for everyone on the border crisis, the worst we've had in the history of our country. We know what this is, but we've shown the rest of the country and the world that we can still fight, and we're still in here as long as our laws are around. So we got to continue to go. School boards, city councils, we have to stand up.
I was listening to some of the mainstream media before we came here today.
Why?
I know why. And I think I have a fever actually.
Yeah, right.
They're calling any kind of recall just a way that conservatives can just pitch a fit and put our heels in the ground, and we're just upset with the election outcome.
Yes.
They think they don't really see any validity in recalling anybody. They just look at it as being just an obstacle that if you don't win, you can just recall them.
Well, I think it's absolutely absurd because there's so much corruption going on in California. They just want to mask it, and they want to continue on committing everything that they're doing, and we're basically standing up and calling them out finally. So yeah.
You know, one thing that I love, as they say this, it just reminds us that their ideas suck. Their ideas are terrible and don't make sense.
That's a good way to put it, actually.
So I mean, if all you do is name call, right, and old school kid stuff, if all you do is name call, it's usually because you have nothing of validity, nothing solid, right?
So personal attacks.
And that's what they do. Oh, Joe Biden called Larry more Trump than he's ever seen, and I'm like, Larry Elder. Intellectual Larry Elder.
And then let's talk, very intellectual area. Let's talk about the egg throwing that we saw in Venice Beach. And he said that before the other day. If that would have been...
It'd be a wrap. It'd be a wrap. And it's sick, guys.
It'd be the biggest story, and he said to Bangladesh they'd be talking about it.
And I mean, one thing that I want to point out is like, this is why we know they don't care and it's not real on their side. Everything, that's scenario. We've seen videos and pictures of that looks like that from the 60s or whatever. Look how they responded. They don't care about black people. Hispanics, women, men. They don't care about anyone except for their agenda and their power. And we see it right now with a man that just wants to do something different for this state. That's it. He wants to try. And they called him, LA Times called him the black face of white supremacy. Let's remember that's what they called him. Those are the people writing these articles. Yeah. I hate these racist.
I know. And to think that you have a chance to have the first black governor in California that has paints themselves so much on identity. They're so labeled on your gender and your race. Why wouldn't they embrace the fact they can have the first black governor?
Well, because totalitarianism doesn't come with conservatism. That's why. Because socialism doesn't come with freedom. And it doesn't match. I've heard it before. I'm not the right skin color. I didn't vote for Joe Biden, so I'm not black.
You're not black. I don't know if you didn't know that, but you're not black.
No. My African heritage, my African name, the fact that my family still lives there, but I'm not black. And that's what they do. And we got to stop.
That had to infuriate you when you.
Oh yeah, I did a sketch comedy about it. So yeah, it's out there.
How can people check out more about all your content? Your career?
Well, you can follow me, Siaka_Massaquoi. It's a little word.
I was about to say you might want to. Yeah, you might want to put it. You might want to spell it out. How can people find you on social media? Maybe that.
Siaka Massaquoi, SIAKA, last name MASSAQUOI. Chief Americano too, because they took down my other page because we're too much truth.
Of course. But well, let's talk about. Well, hang on a second. Let's talk. They're giving out hors d'oeuvres.
Oh,
I know you guys want some. Go ahead and go ahead. We'll take a food break. Go ahead and get something right there. Quick. Hey, when you're lying there and you got to eat, you got to eat. That's the way we roll.
Steak. You got to get the steak.
Let's talk about social media real quick. We were going to talk about this earlier. Shadow banning. Sarah, I know you've been a victim of that.
Every single week, as soon as I post something controversial or against their agenda, my numbers go completely down, and people don't think it's real, but it's absolutely real. My story views go to absolutely zero. My Twitter has been completely removed during the presidential election. My Facebook, you can't see. I can see what I post, but people can't see what I post. And then my Instagram is just absolutely dark.
It's amazing. You'll put you'll post something up, and you might have, like, let's just say 5,000 followers, but you have 50 likes on something, and you're like, well, that doesn't even make sense.
It's interesting. Simone and I actually did a live about the SB 455 and 1102. I had 30,000 followers on one account. The day later, that night actually, they took my whole account down because we put eyes on the fact that they were doing the Gun and Amend bill. That we put it on there that they were hiding in plain sight and trying to steal this thing. So they do it.
We got a little breaking news here. California Governor Gavin Newsom survives the recall note. Now Fox News is breaking this right now with 58% of the precincts reporting. So Newsom, according to Fox News, is winning that 67.3 to 32.7.
And according to Fox News, Trump lost the election too. So
we'll see what that is as well. So that's a little, I don't know. That's one of those things that I still. How can you call it with only just a little more than half of the precincts reporting?
Well, we saw in Woodland Hills alone that they've already been people have already been voted and just showing up. So that's happening. I went and requested a paper ballot. People are having issues finding paper ballots, so they're not making it easy, and they're already setting something else up.
Yeah.
Like I said, the fact that we got here as a group of people want to do a recall, that is probably the biggest win, because they still set it up in March when he signed into law to make this a mail-in recall. Everyone should have known what's happening. So we have the audits coming. We have lawsuits ready to go. We will see what happens after that, but they weren't going to give up the 5th largest economy because the people really wanted to. Let's be honest. That's where we are.
That's where we are. I'm just reading some notes here. Let's pan the crowd real quickly, kind of show the mood here. Announcing that. There hasn't been an announcement here formally, guys, in this arena. That was just on the screen there from Fox News, so we have not heard any figures coming from the elder camp in that regards. But I will say,
ladies and gentlemen,
turn attention to the microphone.
California's 48th Lieutenant Governor, Abel Maldonado.
Good evening, everybody.
I just spent a couple of minutes with Larry, and he'll be down in a while. You guys are going to get to hear from him. He did an amazing job, obviously. We campaigned up and down this state very, very hard. We saw a lot of you, and you know, some TV stations are saying that it's coming to an end. It's way too early. It's way too early. They've discounted the mail ballots. They still got to count the real ballots, the working people who go to the polls on a daily basis. You know, I've been on many campaigns, and you all have been in a lot of campaigns. I have never seen one like this one that had such grassroots support, everybody coming together, coming from all walks of life to support Larry Elder. Larry has made it very clear from the beginning that there are some serious issues here in California. There's no doubt about it. Yesterday, we were up and down the state, and people came out and they mentioned to Larry, we need your help. California is on the wrong track. And I got to tell you something. You hear what Gavin has done. I actually know Gavin, and I got to tell you something. He believes there's two Californians. There's one for him and there's one for all of us. And the one he lives is the one that the people of California signed. Over 2 million people signed a recall petition to get him out of Sacramento. And the people of California need a disruptor. They need a change up there in that ivory tower called Sacramento State Capitol. We need to clean it out, sweep out what's there. And the man to do that is Larry Elder. So I just want to leave you with this. You didn't come to hear it. You didn't come to hear me. You came here to hear Larry. And he'll be down here in a bit. He's looking at the results. And I just got to share this with you. What he has done in a short 9 weeks is historical. 9 weeks. Gavin Newsom raised $80 million, and it didn't, you know where that $80 million came from? It came from special interest unions who he has to call to get an okay before he signs a bill. So, my friends, enjoy the event. We still got plenty of time. I think we got plenty of food back there. And let's enjoy, and we'll have Larry down here in a bit.
Microphone changed out here as we go. But anyway, as we were saying, Sarah, that it's early in the night. Like, we saw what happened in the 2020 election. We've seen what happened in certain states being called. I'm still not convinced that this thing's over yet. And that's just me. You can call me crazy. You can call me, you know, I'm just not willing to give up, and I'm not willing to give up.
Well, it can't be over. They still have a lot of ballots to count. They still have a lot of people to account for. So I think it's just them wishful thinking. They do this every time. They want to make sure everybody, you know, is brainwashed into thinking that this is over.
You got some nice patriotic people here with the sign. You want to come around this way. We'll talk to you guys. Come on over here. She's like, no. All right, so what's your name? Where you from?
I'm Jessica. I'm a county. And I'm an on-count Party.
Larry Elder, why? Why should he be our next governor?
Well, our state need him. His support for education and family, and he's had a color that we need.
And Newsom needs to go, right?
Yes.
That's what the sign says. We see that everywhere.
Honest.
There you go. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you. And that sign says it all, Sarah. Newsom needs to go. Whether or not it's tonight or it's another time, it needs to go. And like they said earlier, maybe this is just the very beginning of something much larger. Maybe this is the beginning of a new movement. If not this time, but maybe another time.
I think we're running out of times, but I think the people of California are absolutely standing up and being loud, and we're only going to get louder.
So let me ask you a question. So let's just say tomorrow morning when Californians wake up and this thing is certified, Newsom's in office, do you see protest, a peaceful protest? Do you see that happening in the streets? I mean, we see what happens over in France and these other countries when they don't like the way things are going. They take to the streets and let their voices be heard. Do you think we see that here in California?
I hope so. I absolutely hope so. I hope that people strike. I hope people make their voices heard and we do conduct an audit because there's definite fraud happening.
All right, so let's pan the crowd. We probably have now well into like 1,000 people probably in here at this point. There's quite a good crowd accumulated here in this ballroom. We are live here in Costa Mesa. If you're just now joining us, this is the Larry Elder headquarters. This is the ground zero for the Elder campaign, and he should be taking the stage here momentarily to say a few words. And as the AP has reported, as Fox News has reported, the recall effort here in California was not successful according to those outlets and according to 58% of the precincts reporting. So where do we go from here is a complete mystery, and of course I would imagine Larry has some things to say about that. I think it was very interesting hearing Joe Biden yesterday saying that, you know, you've got one of the nation's most popular governors, Governor Newsom, and it was interesting. I thought to myself, now wait a minute, how can a popular governor that everyone loves, be involved in a recall? It seems like a lot of people don't like him, but apparently he's the most popular governor of all.
Well, Joe Biden also thinks he's the most popular president, so they're best friends.
Yeah, that's the same cut of cloth, I guess you could say there. But yeah, so as things developed here, we'll let you know, but we can also let you know about standing up for your freedom. ILoveMyFreedom.com. They're a great partner of ours for this broadcast here in California, and we want you to support them as well. Look, we've had this conversation about wearing patriotic gear and standing up and fighting the left. And one way you can fight the left is actually wear gear that supports conservative values. In God we trust, love a country, love a family, 2A, you're a big 2A advocate. It's doing things like that that support our values. So go to ILoveMyFreedom.com and put that promo code RSBN, and there's all kinds of offers out there. There's things where they're giving away the shirt. You just got to pay for shipping. I mean, they've got some. Amazing. It sounds amazing. There's stuff. They gotta go. Yeah. Let's turn it back to the podium.
We don't believe those polls, do we? No way. You know what? I'm Kelly Earnby. I am the county-wide precinct operations chair for the Orange County GOP. Many of you know me. Raise your hand if you helped us on the precinct team this year. Let me see you out there. We have 750 volunteers. We have a city team in every city. And you know what? We built that this year. Thank you to these volunteers. We reached 600,000 voters. We made over 300,000 phone calls. We knocked on over 53,000 doors. We built Spanish-speaking team, a Chinese-speaking team, Vietnamese-speaking, Korean-speaking. There's more. And we did that because the California comeback is here. We knew tonight was going to be a difficult race. I'm telling you, this is not done. You know what? When I pulled in here today, I got 3 messages from 3 different city chairs telling me there's a line around the building at my polling place and people haven't even finished voting. This is not over. So we are here, and you know what? Thank you for giving us a couple minutes to tell you guys in Orange County we do think we're winning. And you know what? There's only 39% of the turnout in Orange County were Democrat voters. What does that mean? Less than 50%? We are almost more votes for Republicans than the Democrats. What does that mean? That means we are turning Orange County red again. They lied and said that this is a blue county. It is not a blue county. We are taking it back, and we take it back one city, one county at a time. We have done our part in Orange County, and we will make this spread statewide. If we haven't won this tonight, you guys, stick with us. We built the team that is going to take back California. So I have my great friend Ron Flores here. I want to introduce you. Have you guys seen the lying Democrat media is scared because the Republicans have got a Hispanic movement and they're worried. Are the Hispanic Latinos, are they going to change the state of California? Yes, they are, and it starts, as everything does, in Orange County. Ron started his movement right here. He's part of our precinct team, and you know what he's going to tell you guys? Basta! Enough! And he's going to give some awards right now, but you guys have hope. We had Jack Hibbs giving a prayer. God bless California. God bless the USA. And God bless Ron Flores, who will tell you who are the winners of our contest. And stick with us. We'll be back.
Too bad she's not excited. I've worked with a lot of people in my life around the world, but I've never worked with such a hard-working lady. It's a pleasure to work with her. You know, the organization that I'm part of is called BASTA. Hola, Americanos, ¿cómo están? In case you don't know, BASTA means I've had enough. And we've had enough, haven't we? So what we did, we had a contest for $1,000 for whoever made the most phone calls, and a lady named Sharon Hawley made 69,000 phone calls. So she's going to get the $1,000, and I'm going to close my part of it with this. For the midterms, we're going to give away $5,000 to whoever makes the most phone calls, $10,000 to whichever club makes the most phone calls, and the most phone calls that a district makes, $25,000. That's just what I'm thinking now. It's going to be more than that. Thank you all very much. Thank you to Kelly Earnby. She deserves all the credit.
Being over, because the movement here in Southern California from the Republican standpoint will continue regardless of the outcome here tonight. And I guess that is one positive way to look at all of this. You know, we were just talking, we stepped away while he was talking to get some water, and then all of a sudden the guy comes on back on. But we were talking off camera that regardless of kind of what happens tonight, this is a big movement, and this shows that you can be a disruptor here in California. If you don't like the way things are going, then take a guy like Larry Elder, steps up and really has made a sizable impact in the political realm. And he actually said today that he doesn't plan on going anywhere.
And I think that's a great idea because we need someone that's going to stick with us. I think the entire country thinks that California is a lost cause. But I think the past couple of years and through COVID, the people have really stood up and said, listen, we love our freedoms, and we're not gonna, we're not gonna take less, and he's definitely someone that's gonna represent that.
I know that Larry Elder yesterday talked about the real estate market here in California, and that the affordable housing, if I'm ballpark here, the average cost of a 4-bedroom home here in California is in the excess of $800,000. That's the average. Now, the American dream of owning a home is very unobtainable here in California for the average person. Would you agree with me on that? I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. And $800,000 is absolutely nothing. I mean, compared to what costs actually are. Between taxes, from your income taxes, the state taxes, they're taking half your income and then they leave you with nothing for the cost of living. So we need to change that, because we're all going to end up
sleeping in tents, basically.
I'm going to say that.
We're going to end up sleeping in tents. Speaking of tents, that segues into the homeless problem that we have here. And if you've had a trip to Southern California here recently and you drive along the highways here, it seems like tent cities, Sarah, are everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot. It's an easier way of life for these people. They have no help. They have free drugs. They have no mental health care. They have no facilities to go to. Yet we're paying out all of our taxes to accommodate them, and we're just not seeing any kind of.
And I don't know how you take care of that, of this massive homeless problem. And of course, this is something that has grown over the years. This is not something that just happened in the last couple of years. The homeless problem is something that has really swelled into proportion that we have now over the last 10 years. It's a decade problem.
Yeah, and there's so many more people that are living this lifestyle, and nobody's doing anything about it. So, and they want to be homeless. They don't want help.
That's true too.
That's the sad part is when like law enforcement tries to offer any kind of help or resources, they turn it down.
Yesterday I was walking the streets of Hollywood along the Walk of Fame, and I was talking to one of these private security officers that were he's hired to walk city blocks to make sure that everything is maintained and nobody, robs anybody. In the middle of our conversation about that area, a gentleman across the street decided he needed to drop a number 2 right there on the sidewalk. And when I say drop it, I mean pants down to the ankle, the whole bit, right there in the middle of the day. And then he turned to me and said, "That's California. Welcome to the state, to the Golden State." If you think that's acceptable and you feel like you're just gonna, I just won't look that way. You can't just shy away from problems like that. You have got to address. Can you imagine being the business that he just did that in front of?
No,
and it was in front of a business.
I couldn't imagine doing something like that. Where's their mindset? Where's their decency? Where, it's just that this weird entitlement, and I know drugs and mental health have a lot to do with it, but where's the help? Where's the laws? And there are none.
There are none. We talked about the way that he has decriminalized a lot of things like theft. Theft has been decriminalized, basically. Going into a grocery store, filling up your shopping cart with food, toiletries, and just walking out. And you can't do a dadgum thing about it.
I think you can steal up to $900, and I don't know how they determine that, because they're like, maybe you have $950, so we're going to call the police now. But no, nobody does anything about anything.
I have a friend that's a manager of a grocery store here in Southern California, and they are not allowed, once the shopping cart passes the front door, they're not allowed to pursue these people, and they know that. So they fill up the cart with steaks and anything they want to eat, and then they make a beeline to the front door, and they know once they get out in the parking lot, they can come back and do it again, because guess what? You can't charge these people with back-to-back crimes like that, even if you charge them with the crime. A lot of them just get away with it.
Yeah, and law enforcement right now is just scratching their head because they're not able to do their jobs, and businesses are losing money. so much more crime is happening because it's set a precedence that everybody can just do whatever the heck they want.
Whatever you want to do.
And nobody's going to get in trouble for it. So it's a little out of control. This is the zombie apocalypse.
It is a zombie apocalypse. And you see some of these people walking the streets and you're like, my goodness, I don't know what planet they came from. But this is California. But this is not the California that when I lived here, and of course you live here now, it seems like I was here late 90s or mid to early 90s to mid 2000s. So I had a good chunk of residency here in Orange County. I was just making sure we didn't get another speaker on stage. And the state has definitely crumbled since then. I mean, in every aspect of the word.
Yeah, I don't see it much in Orange County. Orange County is pretty good, but it's also, you know, it's the city managers and the city council and the sheriffs that, you know, set this way of living. But yeah, LA County is just absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible. And I've never seen it. I don't even want to drive my kids through there.
All right, so while we're talking about that, let's take a break and talk about our friend over at My Pillow. You talk about a patriot. Mike Lindell does just absolutely everything possible to protect voter integrity, to protect this country, to keep faith involved in everything. And this is one way that you can help fight back all of this. If you don't like what you're seeing in the news, if you're not like what you're seeing coming out of politics, you can definitely make a difference there. Go to mypillow.com. That's mypillow.com. Put that promo code in at RSBN at checkout. You'll get up to 66% off now. We got holidays coming up. I know it's, you know, may not be that cool here in Southern California yet, but holidays are coming up. Why not go shop online, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And My Pillow is the best pillow ever.
And after this recall effort, I'm probably going to need 2 or 3 of those pillows for tonight because I'm going to need a good night's sleep after this. Don't forget about the dog beds, the Giza sheets, the slippers, and of course, if you go to mystore.com as well, they got thousands of patriotic things you can buy, plus a lot of stuff that's made right here in the USA, which is very important as well.
Absolutely, yes. And we always want to support our patriot.
So go support Mike Lindell. There's a woman screaming behind me. Go check out Mike Lindell over at mypillow.com. That's mypillow.com. Get up to 66% off your entire order. Big thanks to Mike Lindell. No, the lady was screaming behind me just now. And she's just very passionate about this country, obviously. And everyone is. I mean, you notice, like, here's the thing. If you've ever been to any kind of Democratic, like a leftist party, like, what would that look like here? What Antifa flag would they fly right now? Where is the American flag at these protests? I mean, think about this for a second, Sarah. When we go to do a protest, there's not one American flag that no one's out there flying the flag from the left.
No, and it's very, very sad.
And it's very evident where their heart is at.
Absolutely, and it's very violent and depressing and anger. It's just not happy and patriotic. They don't love our country like we do.
At all. And so that's why it's important for you to share this broadcast as well. Go out there, share this content, tag a friend, do what you can to get this message out there, because that's the only way we win in all of this, is to disseminate this information, because we know that Big Tech's got their finger on it. Now, question, and be honest, do you have our app on your phone?
I do not.
Okay, that's a perfect segue into getting our app on your phone. Go to your iOS or Android store. Now get this right now. Months ago when we launched this new app, which by the way, you can stream all of our stuff. You got no service on your phone. You can download it later. I got no service on my phone either. But when you go and get our app is up 164,000% since we first launched it. And that's because of viewers like you have decided, you know what, I want to get all of this content on my phone and I don't have to worry about anybody getting bleeped out because we said the wrong word. It's all in our app. It's protected. So go download our app today. You can program, you can stream our stuff. You can look at the shows we have. Diamond and Silk we have on our network. The 13-minute news hour is on there. Red, White, and Truth is on there. We have my show, Under the Influence, is on there. We have all kinds of stuff on there. So go download our app. And if you had any problems in the very beginning of launching our app, if you had any bugs that might have distracted you and you say, you know what, I gotta jump off this app. Hang on, come on through. Come on through. All right. Nothing like the Larry Elder train coming through here. Go download our app. We've got all the bugs worked out. I can promise you, you're going to have a flawless experience. So go download our app today on your Android or iPhone store and get that content in the palm of your hand. That's, it's easy. And when you get your cell phone,
yes, accessible.
We'll do that once we get the cell phones.
Right.
All right, so let's take a look at the band over there. They're playing, which is kind of nice to have some music. I prefer the live music versus the tracked house sounds. And I love when Trump now has kind of flipped his rallies from being the traditional pre-recorded music, which we still have that, but I really love the live music. I love the band.
I like this atmosphere right now. It's still a party, even though, we don't have some great news, but I truly believe it's not over, and I don't think anybody in this room feels the same way.
I think, if someone on the left right now is laughing and going, aha, whatever, it didn't go your way, you could obviously tell it has not dampened the enthusiasm here.
We're so used to them pulling this stuff. Yeah, and I feel like it happens every election.
It's kind of funny you say that. We're so used to shenanigans. And you know what? And that really leads me to my next topic about faith. I think conservatives tend to be a little bit more faith-based. So when things don't go right or doesn't go the way we want it to go, we fall back on the heels of our faith instead of getting disgruntled and throwing rocks through windows or go protesting something. We don't do that.
I know, yeah. I think about that all the time, that as soon as I see any kind of turmoil, I'm like, okay, God has his plan. We just need to pray about it and come to peace. And we know that it's all going to be fine.
Yeah. So it's all going to be fine. Of course, we had amazing Jack Hibbs, is that right? That said that earlier. It's all about prayer. It's all about, having faith in a higher power of what's going on. Let's see if we can talk to some more people. How you doing? Hey, we're live on the air right now. If you want to kind of RSBN, Right Side Broadcasting Network, Sarah Rodriguez, Brian Glenn here. So Larry Elder, why should he be our next governor? And why should we recall Newsom?
Well, we in California have really been fed up with Newsom. We have the fires not being handled responsibly. The taxes are going up. People are leaving the state. Our schools are terrible. People are leaving our schools. Crime is escalating. Homelessness is escalating. He's not doing anything. And yet, Elder is a candidate with specifics and answers to deal with these problems. He's a statesman, and he'd be a big blessing to have. I know I'm the president of the Pacific Justice Institute. We're defending religious freedom. We just filed a lawsuit yesterday against the city of LA on behalf of the police and the unreasonable vaccine requirements. The bottom line is we need freedom. We want California to be a state of freedom like the state of Texas, like the state of Florida. And if we get involved, we can make it happen. Hopefully we'll make it happen tonight.
And so if it doesn't go the way we want it to go tonight, we were just talking about this still is I think a pivotal point in California political history that we know that at least we're going in the right direction with perhaps the right candidate, because we were just saying, I think Elder, California is the first stop on his political tour. I think he's got higher aspirations.
Oh, he does. And that's why we're hoping that this will send a signal to the rest of the nation that this is not someone you want in the White House. This is not someone who's going to deal with the problems of the United States. And I think that there's also over $80 million from the left has been spent. And that's less money they're going to be able to use against great candidates running in the next midterm.
I know that Gavin Newsom's outspent Larry Elder 5-1 in campaign in finance, because it's almost like he had an unlimited pocketbook to spread this message. How do you think that affected the reach and getting his name and his platform out there?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it had a big effect, but also he was giving away money. He was promising perks and things. I talked to someone who said, I can't help but vote for him because this is what I'm going to get from him. So, that on top of the heavy financial backing, it would. But just the fact that Larry Elder is doing this well, this outgunned and outnumbered and outfinanced, says something about the people of California and who we really want and who we really need, and that's Larry Elder.
Brad, thanks for your time. I know you walked by and we grabbed you. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Hey guys, would you like to come in and say a few words with us? Come on in. We're live on the air. Brian Glenn with Right Side Broadcasting, Sarah Rodriguez as well. So Larry Elder, he's the man, right?
Yes, he is.
So what is it about Newsom that you don't like? Is there a long list of things, right?
Yeah.
The list is a long. I got a list. I have a very long list. I can read it off to you, but we don't have that time tonight. We're here to celebrate Larry Elder.
Celebrate Larry Elder.
So, despite what the numbers we saw earlier about what the results with 58% of the precinct, is that discouraging to you at all, or are we still very hopeful about Larry Elder?
Very hopeful. I don't believe. I don't.
See, if you're thinking the passion here is going to be dampened, we haven't dampened the passion here. We're still very passionate about it.
Yes, absolutely.
You got some glass of wine and some music. What more could you want? Larry to win. Elder to win. Of course that's what you want. There you go. Goodbye, Newsom. I wish we were saying goodbye, Newsom. You never know. We might be saying it. We want to say goodbye, Newsom. Goodbye. And actually, don't come back. Don't come back. Yeah, no more. No more. All right, well, thanks for your time. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. And wait, what city do you guys live in?
Maureen. Newport Beach.
Newport. All right, there you go. My kids are born at Hogue. There. All right, there you go. All right, so that's the scene. Like, it just seems like every time we talk to somebody, everyone's still in a great mood.
So positive, so looking forward to the next, day.
It's almost like if you're thinking that the air would be let out of our cells right now, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. But I'm really looking forward to see what Larry has to say now. He is expected to make a comment here shortly. And let me get the local time on here because I know time really, it's 9:23. I would think probably that in the next 30 minutes he should be saying something on stage.
Well, hopefully he's just as pumped as everybody in the audience. So
I want to see if we can get this "Make America Great Again" guy. He's kind of a. There's always that one guy at one of these events. That one guy that had to wear the crazy. Right. That's a lot to say in the crazy hat. Anyway, we'll see if we can get distracted over here. Let me see. Hang on a second. All right. Here we go. I was just looking for you.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, Brian Glenn, Sarah Rodriguez, Right Side Broadcasting.
Nice, guys.
Nice hat, Right Side Broadcasting. Right, there you go. All right, so obviously, Trump supporter.
Of course.
Larry Elder supporter.
No doubt.
You want to see Newsom gone, right?
Say that again?
You want to see Newsom out of here?
Absolutely.
Give me the reasons why.
Well, obviously there's two standards for Newsom. He had his business open. Nobody else did. He says he supports the science, but he doesn't listen to any science that's outside of what he wants, which is lockdowns, which is more government control. He doesn't listen to any doctors. Nurses were heroes last year. Now it's mandatory vaccines this year. I believe that's a little unfair. A lot of essential workers have been working this entire time. Now all of a sudden we're going to mandate vaccines for the people that have been working. The fact he had his winery open, big problem. Homelessness. I'm 28. Homelessness has changed from when I was a kid.
We were just talking about that.
So, I mean, that's just a couple off the rip.
There you go. You just rattled about 10 off right there. We have said that the homeless, let's go a little step a little bit further. We have said that the homeless problem here in the state has really gotten out of control the last 10 years, and obviously you've seen that.
Absolutely, 100%.
Let's talk about Trump for a second. Obviously, you say 45 for 24. Hey, why not 45 for 21 or 22? Hey, why not? I can't wait to 24. I want him back now.
What do you want to do? You want to impeach? You want to do an impeachment strategy? Run in Florida? You want him to run for Speaker of the House in Florida?
I've heard that. I've heard this whole trail, and that's not when I go because I don't want to. I want it all, actually. I want my Christmas tree in the morning, and I want everything underneath it. No, but we do need Trump back in the White House. So
most definitely. I think anything before 24 is just. You can't get in the habit of trying to impeach every single president. It's a bad precedent that the Democrats set last time. I don't think that we really want to set that precedent. I wish the Republicans would be a little more assertive. They are kind of pushovers, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's a great precedent to set to just impeach every president back to back to back.
Okay. The biggest failures.
there might be some impeachable stuff there. If so, it can't be off the table completely.
So let's talk about the biggest failures of Joe Biden so far. Has been what?
What's been one?
The biggest failures.
Afghanistan, by far. Terrible, terrible pullout. It's unreal how bad you could botch the pullout in Afghanistan after 20 years. He wants to blame it on the timeline that Trump put in place, but he's had 9 months. You can't get tanks and Humvees out in 9 months. All of a sudden you're scrambling. You got people falling off of jumbo jets, or excuse me, C-1s, whatever it is. You can't tell me that you had planned for every contingency when you have people falling off the sides of planes. That's not a contingency.
Let's talk about the borders. I mean, like the first week, wide open. Now I live in Texas, and so obviously that's a problem there in Texas, going up from the Rio Grande, Southern California. You got the same problem.
Yeah, it's a problem here. I mean, our border at San Jacinto is relatively fortified. They've kind of shifted more eastbound towards Arizona, but regardless, the problem is there.
Well, we appreciate your time, John. God bless. God bless. We'll see you at a Trump rally, all right? They're having, matter of fact, if you didn't know, our next Trump rally is on September 25th, Macon, Georgia, at the Georgia County Fairgrounds. So that's all happening on September 25th. And then October 9th, we're in Des Moines, Iowa for that rally. You've been a Trump, no, have you been to a Trump rally yet?
Yeah, yes.
It's great. It's like the greatest concert ever.
Oh my gosh, and it's just to see so many people gathered for the right reasons, it's just breathtaking.
And what's great is it really breaks down all the traditional stereotypes of what a Trump supporter is. It's not all just, middle-aged white guys out there. It's all races, all nationalities, all and families. God, country. It's just a great time.
Yeah, and it's happy.
It's very happy. So join us for September 25th, live from Macon, Georgia, for the Trump rally there. And of course, on October 9th, we are having the rally in Des Moines, Iowa. For that, go to our website, rsbnetwork.com, for more information, rsbnetwork.com for more information about that. We're going to switch out some batteries in the mic. Okay, we're going to do a little audio. So we're going to pan the crowd. I'll come up there, and we'll switch out the batteries in this microphone so we continue as we are live here in Costa Mesa.
Conversations with an old bottle of wine, reminiscing by the days when you were mine, where we had our ups and downs, the bad outweighed the good. We had tried to work it out. Hell, I wondered if we could. Now I'm feeling lost and so alone. Yeah, I'm bleeding. Conversations with an old bottle of wine, reminiscing by the days when you were mine, where we had our ups and downs, the bad outweighed the good. We had tried to work it out.
All right, we are back, and just a quick battery swap out. That's what you get when you go live for 3 hours at a time, right? That's what we do here. You got a lot to say. Well, step up to the microphone, my friend. All right, so I walked by, and this guy said that you have a lot to say. All right, now we got to keep it semi-internet professional here. Actually,
crazy Democrat here.
Okay, what's your name? Where are you from?
So my name is Marcos Delata. I was actually born and raised in the IE. I'm a veteran. The only time I've been out of California is when I was serving. I came back. California's a mess, and now we have this going on, unfortunately.
So in a way, you have every reason to be angry at Gavin Newsom for destroying the state that you grew up in. You go serve our country, come back, and it's a dumpster fire.
Exactly. I grew up in the city of Upland. The city of gracious living is what they call the city, and that's what we call ourselves. We take that with pride. We did not have the homeless issue that we have now when I left for the Army. I came back, we have people on every corner. We have a meth problem, we have a crime problem. That wasn't the case just 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, and I can't say anything else other than it's the Democratic policies that are ruining my great state.
So where do we go from here? Obviously, we've seen the numbers that's reporting a lot of the New York Times, a lot of, the AP, Fox News has all called this. But do we use this as a positive moment in political history here in California to move a different direction and try to change it? Maybe not now, but maybe change it down the road.
No, absolutely. I mean, you look at Larry Elder himself, the fact that he is the forefront-running candidate for the Republican Party, he is an African-American man. He is an inspiration to so many minorities just like myself and millions elsewhere in the nation. What we're seeing now between Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden is going to create a whiplash effect that's going to help the Republican Party moving forward. People are waking up, and ever so slightly, no matter how long it takes, people will slowly start realizing the Democrats are not for you, they're only destroying and causing harm.
How many people do you meet in your community that are having this awakening of what's happening to our country from the left and potentially the better path moving forward from a conservative viewpoint?
Well, I'm here as an individual, but I am a president of a local chapter for Turning Point USA. And every single day we go out there and we talk to students every single day. And if it's not your organization, I'm doing it myself as a patriot. And people who are willing to listen to facts, listen to reason, they're the ones who I can change their minds. And it's happening every single day.
Well, Sarah, you're involved in Turning Point USA as well.
We met in the LA, UCLA?
Yeah.
At the Yago Boyens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the beginning of COVID.
It was, right before, when Antifa showed up. It was a good time.
I mean, the importance that young people hear the facts from you guys. I mean, that's huge. I mean, Prager University, same thing. They're able to reach these kids.
Exactly. It's always been said, the young are the future of our country. And I consider myself a little bit older just because, I went to serve, I came back. But if we influence one person and they stand up in the classroom, they find 5 more closeted conservatives who come out, speak out, and we can start changing the nation like that. Fighting against that indoctrination, speaking up like, hey, professor, hey, teacher, that is not correct. We love our country, and what you're speaking is lies, and that's how we win. We need to fix our elections, and we need to fight to fix our young minds who are being indoctrinated.
Well, I think we're so groomed to think that California is blue, so as a conservative, you don't really have anybody to talk to, and you think you're alone, so you kind of just shut down. And everybody thinks that. So once you start, having that conversation with people, now we're able to stand up and rise above it. So
all right, let's take the podium to the stage.
We really appreciate everything you've done. Can you hear me okay? Is that better? Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you for everything you've done for Larry. He's so proud of everything you've done to help him come this far. Hey, it's just the beginning, right? All right? We got a long night ahead of us, and we got a long road ahead of us. So I just want to let you all know, Larry's pumped up. He's excited. He's going to be down shortly. So we'll have him down here. You'll be hearing from him in about 10, 15 minutes. So again, all right, so we'll see you shortly. Sit tight, and Larry will be down soon. Thank you.
All right, so we got about the 10 to 15 minute warning that Larry Elder will come out here and say a few words to the crowd. It's interesting. I was just telling you just a second ago, it's ironic when you see people that you've met before along this political road that we're on right now. I've seen a couple people from Trump rallies, obviously, that say, hey, I saw you in Iowa, or whatever.
Huge movement, and people communicate. We're constantly networking. We're constantly reaching out to people, and we've all become family.
It's one big family here, and of course, Larry's got a lot to say about this movement, and he said this. I think he said this today or yesterday that this inspired him to really double down in politics and do more now that he knows he's got a lot of support behind him. So this maybe it's the birth of Larry Elder in politics as we now will know it. From this point on.
Yeah, I hope he sticks with it because we definitely need him, and we're rooting for him.
We are waiting for him as well, and also this is a good chance for us to talk about our good friends over at MyPillow. I know we got the promo code RSBN. You can use that promo code at checkout and get up to 66% off your products there. We can also talk about our good friends at I Love My Freedom. We have all these great broadcast sponsors. Support both of these companies. I cannot stress that enough. As we all know, cancel culture, they're wanting to cancel Mike Lindell, and they're wanting to cancel every other company that supports conservative values. So please go to mypillow.com, Put that promo code RSBN at checkout. You'll get up to 66% off. You can also go to ilovemyfreedom.com. I love saying that website. ilovemyfreedom.com.
Freedom.com, yes. And if you can't put it online or say it out loud, wear a t-shirt.
Wear a t-shirt. And don't forget to put the promo code in that as well at RSBN at checkout. And there's a special offer for you. They're even doing some things that have free shipping. Or actually, they'll give you the t-shirt for free or the item for free and you pay for shipping. I don't know. It's all on the website. Go check it out. ilovemyfreedom.com and mypillow.com. We love our broadcast sponsors. You can also go to our website because you probably know this, Sarah. You're viewer funded. I mean, we get to do all of this because of donations like yourself. So go to our website as well, rsbnetwork.com/donate. That's rsbnetwork.com/donate. Give what you can. And as Larry would always say, throw something in the tip jar. I love when he says that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love watching your guys' network grow. You guys are killing it.
About this time last year is when I joined the crew here. And I was kind of a product of cancel culture to a certain degree, and got fired from my job, my previous broadcasting job, and I landed here on my feet at Right Side. And I could not be any happier in my 20-plus year career in this industry because I'm with a company now that allows me to cover events like this, God, family, faith, community, supporting the American values and supporting freedom. So I love it. And so please go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and give what you can to help us do all of this. It's very important. Of course, we have broadcast sponsors, but donations from our viewers, it goes a long way.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're turning around. People are still here. We're not going anywhere. I don't see anybody going anywhere for the time being. I actually think people that were outside of here are now coming in. Now, Sarah, you got here a little bit late. You were telling me there were some people lined up outside to get in. There's cars. I don't know where they're parking everybody here, by the way, because the parking was overflowing even when I got here. But the enthusiasm is high. The media is here, which is nice to see. Well, let's give a media count real quick. We don't have to call out, but you've got all the local stations are here, which we kind of knew they would show up. We have CNN. We've got Fox. We've got, I think Telemundo is here. We've got a couple other conservative outlets are here. Spectrum is here as well. So we've got all the media here covering this event, as you would expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the vans are lined up. It's kind of blocking all the traffic, trying to get in, but it's a party.
Yeah. Outside, it looks like if you just casually drove by this hotel, you know something's going on here at the hotel today.
Definitely going on, and you wouldn't expect this.
And now I wonder what the party is like at the maybe Caitlyn Jenner watch party, and maybe one of these other candidates. I don't know. I do know that Caitlyn Jenner was polling at less than 1%.
I want to know how many people are at Gavin Newsom's party.
Well, where is he at? Is he at home?
He's at Joe Biden's basement.
Sarah, you get brownie points for the joke of the day. He's hiding down with Joe Biden in the basement. That actually might be where he's at right now, is in Joe Biden's basement. Anyway, just looking around, we've got all kinds of people here, all kinds of age breakdowns. And that was one of the things about conservatives. It seems like when I was in college, conservatives were just like these stuffy white guys. Yeah, it was your grandpa's party. That's not the case anymore.
I remember growing up in school, and school would literally tell you Democrats are for the people and Republicans are for money. And you grew up thinking, well, I care about people more than I care about money, so I guess I'm a Democrat. And then you start looking at values, and it's actually the opposite. It's so crazy.
It really is crazy. And I love to see the kids, and of course with Turning Point USA getting involved, and PragerU getting involved in all of this. And even Right Side, we've got a lot of really brilliant young minds working for this company that do a lot of the writing, the articles that we have, and the correspondence, Grace and everybody else, Bianca, they're all just brilliant. And I think that's the future of the Conservative Party.
And thank God for them, because they're setting the stance for people to look beyond of what they're actually being taught in these colleges and in schools. So that's the main reason why I got involved in Turning Point. My kids were in high school and I wanted to make sure that they were taken care of and they were not being indoctrinated and not being brainwashed, and for them to stand up for what I worked so hard as a parent to give them those values. And unfortunately, school will actually wipe any value out completely.
There's always that joke about you raise your kids, they go off to college, the first semester they come home for Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden they hate this country. All of a sudden they think Thanksgiving is a waste of time. So they identify as a she or a he. They no longer eat turkey, they're vegan. And this is all a process of the higher indoctrination of our kids. And so hopefully, we need to change that direction. I know that is first and foremost. And we've always talked about this, Sarah. If you don't like what's going on in your school board, for the love of God, go to your school boards and raise holy hell.
Or run for school board.
Or run for
If
school.
you're a parent, get involved. We can stop it. However, we have to be proactive.
But I think getting involved in your city council meetings as well is very important. I mean, if you were just to show up at your city council meetings, your school boards, and voice your opinion, that might be the first person that someone else says, you know what, I want to join you. Be that first person to be that voice of opposition. That's sometimes all it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was saying with California. That one person stood up and said, hey, I'm conservative, I love my country, I love freedom, and then the next person, and it's a domino effect. But yeah, absolutely, in these city councilmen, I love watching these meetings because they just rip them apart with facts and truths and put them back in their place, and it is wonderful. It is hilarious.
It is great when you see these viral videos of someone walking up in a beekeeper suit, giving them a lecture on COVID protocol and the schools and the mask. It's just really funny.
I don't know how many times I've applauded my TV and yelling at it, yes, yes!
Yeah, those are always on. So maybe it's going to inspire you to get involved in your local politics. And like Sarah says, if you don't like what's happening, run for office. If you don't like your dog catcher in your neighborhood and your community, run for the next dog catcher. And whatever that position is, make a change in your immediate world. And that's something that we always try to push upon people.
And just do it. Go to work.
Yeah. I love when people say, well, I don't have any experience in politics. You don't need any experience in politics.
No, life experience. You are the way you are because of life. So stand up for it or we're going to lose it.
Life experience. And I think, I've always said this, I really gravitate toward people that have a lot of common sense. I have a PhD in common sense. And I think you like that. I think Larry Elder has a PhD in common sense.
Right, we seem to have more common sense than the left, but which is why we gravitate towards each other.
That's true. That's why Sarah and I are friends, because we have common sense. We have common sense. You know what? I really can't imagine who that individual today that walks into the voter booth to keep Newsom. Like, what, for the love of God, what is he doing that's so good to you? Is it big tech? Is it the elite? Is it the rich? Is it the entitled people who date? So some of these policies don't affect them because they're so protected from it?
I don't think anybody's voting for him. I think they're voting for themselves.
Yeah. Or they hate Trump that much, they look at Larry Elder as being another Trumper, and they just don't want to get rid of him. So they'll be on the Titanic that's sinking and going further down. I mean, that's what it is.
Right, or anybody against their agenda and control and money. They want to take they want to take control over our money and power, over our state, over the people, and they want to get rid of our freedoms whatsoever. That's what they do with law enforcement. Anybody that stands in their way, they're going to make them the bad person. So.
And it's interesting how the left loves to cancel in the entertainment industry. They love to get rid of anybody who steps out and says, wait a minute, I'm a conservative, and the next thing you know, they can't get a job. I was talking to Scott Baio earlier. If you missed the interview I had with Scott Baio, go to our Facebook page, YouTube channel, it should be on there. We talked about Hollywood. We talked about the way that if you get out of line in their train of thought, you'll find yourself probably not getting as many jobs.
Right, and unfortunately, these people aren't very educated, and they read scripts for a living. So if you tell them to say and do something, they're going to do it.
I'm gonna have you guys come over here real quickly. Come on, Tim. Come on. Tim and Simone joining us. We were just talking about Hollywood. And if you step out of line in Hollywood and your train of thought does not align with everybody else, you may find yourself out of a job. You may find projects that you've wanted to get funding for no longer are going to receive funding, and they just end up on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really tough right now. For people in Hollywood, you know, they've got to make a choice, you know. And it's really tough, you know. They're pretty ruthless. You know, if you don't, they sniff you out. You know, if you don't have the same worldview as they do, they can see you coming.
And of course, as an actor, if they if they voice their opinion on something, they may find themselves not getting those roles.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they don't get all these auditions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you met with Siaka earlier. His agent, he came out as a conservative, and his agent dropped him. And he came out just publicly on social media and whatever, and said he was a Trump supporter, said, you know, wore a MAGA hat, and he got dropped. He's not getting any jobs anymore. So really, Hollywood has for a long time been squeezing the conservatives out. They want a one world view. So, and in addition to that, they are instituting in their what are called white papers in the unions more diversity. So they have to have a certain amount of, you know, diverse people on set. It doesn't matter if they're qualified or not. It needs to be a certain quota of diversity. So people like my husband, after 20 years of doing the job, is getting pushed out because he's not of the right diversity that they're looking for.
Yeah,
so
being a white male in Hollywood isn't going so well.
It's not going so well. I can attest to that. So yeah, it's disheartening, and also they're you know, with the mandates and all of the things that I know that we're dealing with in this country, people in Hollywood are getting pushed out because of their choice not to get the jab. So
Get the jab, but then where do they go? I mean, there's going to be so many people out of a job, nurses out of a job, actors out of a job. Where do they go?
Well, that's what Tim and I are doing, actually. Tim and I are executive producing a couple of projects. We are we're setting our sights on the goal of creating a parallel Hollywood. So everything that Hollywood does well and does with amazing, Hollywood is successful because they are excellent at what they do. And when people say, "Oh, I want to go out and I want to make a conservative movie, or I want to make a Christian film or whatever," it never ends up being up to par because they don't use the Hollywood method that's working, the excellence. So what we're doing is working towards creating a parallel Hollywood for people who are making an exodus out of Hollywood and want to be in comedies, want to be in reality shows, want to have a lot of amazing ideas. Siaka and a few other people we know are developing a sketch comedy a la Saturday Night Live, and it's for conservatives, like funny.
Because when you think about it, is there any shows out there that are specifically targeting conservatives that's aligns with our values?
Right.
I mean, very. They've all been canceled, or they're so suppressed down with no sizable network coverage. So you have to go really find them, but they're not on the bigger platforms.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got great networks like RSBN, and you know, there are great networks coming, you know, gaining an audience right now. I think the challenge is to make the transition from live events like this to more expensive scripted style shows. And so right now that takes finance, it takes business acumen, and it's something that we just hasn't been there before. So really, you know, we're doing shows, but we need to start from the ground level. We're literally building the business from the ground up.
So how do we get the business started? I mean, is there a website, or how can people get involved if they wanted to potentially invest in something that's breaks the mode of traditional Hollywood? How do they go about doing that?
Your website?
Yeah, well, so my website is godwinpictures.com, We have a place on the website where you can give tax deductibly to Got1 Pictures for the purpose of raising up Christian or faith-based or conservative artists, mentoring them, giving them work opportunities, because that's the issue. There haven't been many opportunities to work. And even for the young guys coming out of college or trying to get a start in the industry, they're just not working enough. And so we're creating opportunities where people can be working, and also mentoring opportunities for more established artists in Hollywood that are looking for a place to come and work. We're creating a place where they can start to mentor some of the younger guys coming up, start to see some of this great content coming out, some funny content. We need some funny content,
We do need clean, funny content for sure.
Yeah, we have a show that we are working on right now. I can tell you about one of them. It's called Almost Canceled. It's about
It's kind of like us. We've been almost canceled. Well, you have been canceled. Almost.
Everyone's almost canceled if you're conservative. So it stars Ross Bennett. He's Ross the Boss on Instagram, and it's about a conservative podcaster who always goes a little bit too far in what he says, is a little bit too crazy, and is almost canceled by his network, by his family, by his friends. He gets uninvited to Thanksgiving, and it's so perfect. It's so now. So go follow Ross the Boss on Instagram, Ross the Boss, and then we do have a reality show in the works that with someone that your audience probably knows, and we'll talk about that later.
I like that. That's a nice tease. I like that. It's a nice.
We'll talk about that later.
What? Ross the Boss on Instagram.
Ross the Boss on Instagram.
That's the comedy.
That's the comedy. Almost Canceled with
It's
Ross
called
the Boss.
Almost Canceled, and it stars Ross the Boss. He's already making really funny content, really creative content, and so there are so many creative people in the conservative movement. It's amazing.
And by the way, you can give to that show, Almost Canceled. We've been running a Give, Send, Go campaign, raising money for that. You can go to, Give, Send, Go / Almost Canceled.
Yeah. We'd like to almost cancel Gavin Newsom, and I'm hoping that
I wanted to tell you, this woman is running for Congress in Orange County. I don't know if you want to talk to her.
Brian, nice to meet Brian. This is Sarah Rodriguez. Nice to meet you. So real quick, we're waiting for Gavin Newsom to come on stage. He can come on stage any minute, but you're running for Congress here in Orange County.
I'm running for Congress against socialist Katie Porter, which is Orange County here, and this is a flippable seat, and it's a pickup seat for 2022. And it's very exciting. The NRCC are eyeing this. Kevin McCarthy, the OCGP, everyone is. So super exciting for this race. Right now it's at a D+3 district, which is in 3% advantage of Democrats.
Okay, now, to what area is that here in Orange County?
That encompass Irvine all the way up to Laguna Woods, Laguna Hills, up to Anaheim Hills, over to Orange, down to Villa Park and Tustin area, and go back. So all of those areas.
Pretty big area right there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how can people get more information about your platform and what you stand for?
I'm for God, Guns, and Babies, as conservative as gets. But, I'm also for school choice. We need to make sure that we have the best education for our children, that the voucher system is the best system for the children. It should follow every child in that way, because we know the public school is not giving our children the best education. They're sexualizing, they're teaching critical race theory, and that does do more damage to our children and America in general than anything else. But now they can come and support me and chip in however they can, and follow me at amyfanwest.com, AMYPHAN West, WEST.com, and there they can find more information about me.
And we were just talking about the need. We got some people stepping in front of our camera just for a second. We're in a very busy area, as you can tell.
I escaped from a communist regime in Vietnam. Yes, I know exactly what's going on right now.
And maybe that's why you're so passionate about what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just a mother, wife, and small business owner, and I was never into politics. But until I went up to Sacramento, and those career politicians does not care about parent rights anymore, and they look at us, and you know what they said? You guys are uneducated parents. And we're like, oh my gosh, you did not say that. You guys are so drunk with power that you don't care about us anymore.
Once they get a taste of power, they're not going to let it go.
No.
It's like taxes. They'll never roll taxes back.
And they'll push it further and further and further, which is why I took my kids out of the public school system.
That's why she took her kids out of public schools. I mean,
absolutely. And you know, as a mother and homeschooling my kids and putting them also 2 days a week in Christian private school, that is what we have to do. We have to take matter in our own hands. Because as a mother and a wife, that's what we do. We make things happen. And I know in my district, we have a lot of suburban working mom. And, you know, as a mother, I resonate with them. And I know we can take those votes for the GOP in 2022.
Give us that website one more time for you.
It's Amy, A-M-Y, Fan, P-H-A-N, West.com.
That is next year, November 22.
June 2022.
Well, God bless. Good luck, and I'm hoping we see you back here in Orange County. Thank you so much. You know, we talked about, Sarah, about people getting involved, and she is a great example of getting involved.
I love it. Well, I've seen so many people in Orange County just living here that have stood up and have run for office, run for school board, run for city council, and it's been amazing. So that's one of them.
Definitely one of them. We are moments away. If you're just now joining us, we are live here in Costa Mesa. Elder for Governor, this is his campaign headquarters. We've been live since about 7:30 here, West Coast time, waiting for a lot of the results to come in. I know the initial numbers were not exactly what we were looking for. About 58% of those precincts reporting. A lot of news organizations have called this election to Gavin Newsom that the recall effort had failed and was no longer valid. But you know what? We're not giving up hope, and we actually look at this as an opportunity to move forward with Larry Elder and move forward with a new change and the regime here in California, and perhaps so we can make a difference right now here in the state of California. I mean, we can do. I mean, even though tonight did not go the way we want it to, this gives us hope that there is maybe. And just all we want is a chance to turn this state around.
Right. We need to keep up the momentum, keep up the spirit. We can eventually do this as long as we have an honest election system.
Yeah, as long as you have people willing to fight, just like we had earlier about wanting to fight and make a difference in their community. They are starting. They're now chanting Newsom sucks. Perhaps they might not get to the other chant that we have heard from Joe Biden, but now they have Newsom sucks. But maybe we stop right there. We don't go any further than that.
Well, I don't know. The wine's flowing, so it might go further.
That's a good point there. The wine is flowing, so perhaps that might come out. I hope it doesn't, but that's where we're at right now. So we're just waiting for Gavin Newsom to take the stage and deliver a few remarks in regards to what has gone down tonight in the state of California. And of course, he has campaigned all over this state, spending the last couple of days here in Southern California. And we were here last night for the volunteer rally. He thanked all his volunteers, hundreds of volunteers that he was doing stuff for, which was nice. And so very appreciative of people. It takes people to back these campaigns, Sarah. You know, if you had friends that were running for political office, you need people to go knock on doors. You need people to make phone calls. That's hard work.
It is hard work, but people are willing to do it. I see high school students stepping up. I see college students stepping up, and families, and everybody's pretty much being proactive. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And if you missed the broadcast earlier, we talked about some of the things that are very important to California. One of them is your right to bear arms and protecting your Second Amendment. You are an expert on that. How much of a threat is it in California that perhaps Gavin Newsom or any type of leftist regime will come after your guns in California?
Well, like I said earlier, we are fortunate enough to have some amazing sheriffs protect our counties, which ultimately they would have to go through them unless they did it federally. But we need to be proactive on our Second Amendment rights. They are pushing it. Every little bit of freedoms that they're taking them away, and pretty soon they're gonna come after them all. So we have to be ready.
You have to be ready. Of course, if that is passionate if you're passionate about your Second Amendment rights, what is the best place for someone to get more information on what's going on in this state? Do you know that offhand?
Gunpolicy.com. Yeah, they usually have a plethora of information, and usually
You work with a lot of law enforcement agencies across the state of California. Let's talk about real quickly this whole defund the police movement that we've seen in this country. How is that affecting the police forces that you would visit probably on a daily basis?
A lot. They're unable to get safety equipment for themselves. They are moving funds to other places. They are not hiring as many officers as they need to be. Are we still going?
It looks like, what I'm just saying, it looks like we might be getting a quick mic check here and be moments away from making that happen. We'll just be on standby for that. We're probably moments away. We'll see what happens. We'll stay with this here just for a second. I know we got the 10-minute warning about 10 minutes ago, and it looks like we could be getting very close to having Larry Elder take the stage and deliver remarks on what just took place here in this state tonight as far as the recall effort. So hopefully we will find a decision here in just a second. But going back to what you were saying, and I want to keep an eye on the stage. I don't want to miss these opening remarks. But these police, all of these police forces across the state that you visit, they're in desperate need not only for funding, but probably for police officers in general, because a lot of people have said, you know what, this whole attack on police, I'm out of here.
Right, yeah. A lot of them are looking for new jobs just because there's so many attacks on what they're able to do in their job. There's lack of training. There's lack of equipment, like I said.
All right, Larry Elder has taken the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Knock it off. We're going to be here a while. You know how I can go. First of all, I really want to thank my brilliant campaign staff. My campaign manager, Jeff Corliss, my co-chair, Tony Strickland, my campaign chairman, Lionel Chetwin. Lionel, come up here. Give me some love. Give me some love, Lionel. And his significant other, Superglow Gloria. My goodness. Ying Ma, communications director, Jennifer Alazieri. Took me a while to learn how to pronounce that, but I finally developed it. I hope I don't leave anybody out, the rest of my campaign stand. Deanne Tate. Where's Deanne? I never have quite understood what Deanne did. Every time I say so, she just does a little bit of everything. But I want to thank the volunteers who knocked on doors, who called people, who emailed people. We had over 100,000 people who contributed to our campaign. Thank you. Thank you, Agnes. Agnes, how are you? I love you more. Don't tell my girlfriend. She's kind of territorial. Mark, how are you? Mark, you were there from day one. God bless you. Where's Betty Chu? Is Betty around? Betty's what is she? I hate, my mom used to tell me, never mention a woman's age. What are you, 82 years old, 84? First Asian American to pass the bar of California, become a lawyer. You know, our campaign was all, Michael Horn, how are you? God bless you. I love you more. Yes. We all love you, Larry. Oh. Nashvin, how are you? Nashvin, how are you? This campaign, where's Gloria? Where's Gloria Romero? I don't see Gloria Romero anywhere. There she is, Gloria Romero. Gloria, let me say something about Gloria Romero. You know who Gloria Romero is. Gloria Romero is a Democrat. I'm hoping a recovering Democrat, but we'll see. She was the Senate Majority Leader. She crossed party lines. She's still a Democrat. Like my mother was still a Democrat. My brother was still a Democrat. I couldn't get them to change their party, but I got them to vote a lot more sensibly. Gloria crossed state party lines and supported my candidacy because of the issue of school choice. Because of the issue of school choice. As you know, my opponent, Governor Gavin Newsom, come on, let's be gracious. Let's be gracious in defeat. And by the way, we may have lost the battle, but we are going to win the war. Gloria crossed party lines because of the issue of school choice. We're spending $15,000 every year for students in our government schools in California. Notice I don't call them public schools, I call them government schools. $15,000 a year, some of the worst reading scores, some of the worst math scores. Only about 15 or 16 states spend more. And the students that are getting the raw end of the deal are the black and brown students who comprise 80% of the government students in our government schools. They're getting the worst teachers, the worst principals, the worst administrators, the worst outcomes. What is the route from poverty to middle class? At least finish high school. One, presumably where you can read, write, and compute at grade level, and that is not happening. I read a study that said roughly 5% of government teachers across the nation are incompetent. Roughly 5%. I have no idea whether that's true of California, but let's assume for a moment that it is. There are 300,000 public school teachers in California. Any given year, 2.2 are fired. If it is true that 5% are incompetent, that means 15,000 are incompetent. 2.2 every year are fired. Again, I'm not saying that applies to California, but assuming it does, imagine if that applied to cops in LA. I'm in LA. 10,000 force, assuming 15% were incompetent. We're talking about 500. 500. Doing what? Planning evidence, engaging in racial profiling, using excessive force. We wouldn't put up with it. We'll put up with 15,000 incompetent public school teachers. That is why Gloria and I support school choice. So the money goes into an account, education savings account, that the parent can control, put the kid in a charter school, a private school, a religious school, or God forbid, homeschooling. The reason we started this campaign is because this man, Governor Gavin Newsom, was sitting up there at the French Laundry restaurant with lobbyists who contributed to his campaign, with the people who drafted the mandates that they were violating by not wearing masks, by not engaging in social distancing, while telling you to do it. Meanwhile, his own kids were enjoying in-person private education. Now, he incurred a $12,000 wine tab. No, I don't know what they ordered, but I bet you it wasn't Mad Dog 2020. Crime up. Crime up. 41% in LA, and I'm talking about shootings, homicides. Under this governor, 20,000 convicted felons were released early. What could possibly go wrong? The other day, former Senator Barbara Boxer was mugged in Oakland. You're not cheering for Barbara Boxer being mugged, are you? This is a rough crowd. It's a rough crowd. Also, I wanted to give some love to Arnie Steinberg. Arnie Steinberg, my strategist. Arnie, you were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Also, Jenny Sand is here. Jenny, without you, I probably wouldn't have run. Jenny Sand, Pastor Jack Hibbs. Dennis Prager, and again, my chairman, Lionel Chatwin, all of whom advised me to run. But ultimately, I decided to run because I felt that I could do something about the crime. I could do something about the homelessness. I could do something about the fact that California has now hit $800,000 average price of a home. That's 150% above the national average. Outrageous because of the stranglehold the environmental extremists have had over Gavin Newsom and have had over Sacramento. Love you more. We have 5 seasons in California now. The 5th one is fire because of the poor forest management. Outgoing Governor Jerry Brown had a plan to clear 500,000 acres of fallen trees, dead trees, and dry vegetation. And our governor claimed that he cleared 90,000 acres, which would have been a drop in the bucket if it were true, but it wasn't. According to the LA Times, he only cleared 13% of what he said he would, which meant he exaggerated by a factor of 7. You know, before the pandemic, half of all 3rd graders in our government schools could not read at state levels of proficiency. Half. And those levels are low. Math scores even worse. 75% of black boys could not read at state levels of proficiency. Math scores are even worse. Because I care about this, I've been called the black face of white supremacy. We're running out of water in California. We haven't added to our water infrastructure in 40 or 50 years when the state was half its size. It's not like voters don't know what to do. We pass bond measure after bond measure after bond measure for more reservoirs, to raise dams, for more underground water storage, and yet the water drains right out into the Pacific Ocean. There is a desert nation in the Middle East. It's called Israel. Because of desalination, they are now water self-sufficient. They got a little body of water next to them called the Mediterranean. We have a little body of water next to us called the Pacific Ocean. We can't figure this out? Rolling brownouts? Are you kidding me? Rolling brownouts. Because we're forcing our utility companies to invest tens of millions of dollars into weather-dependent, unreliable sources of energy called wind and solar. A war on oil and gas. It almost takes an act of Congress to get a permit to drill an oil well or to drill for natural gas. Many of the middle-class jobs, working-class jobs related to those industries are all now gone. For the first time in our state's history, never happened before. What are we, 170 years old? I think, Arnie, you were there when it first happened, right? First time in our state's history, people are leaving. A net migration out of California. I love the smile, sir. Net migration out of California. And when middle-class people cite as the reason for leaving, the number one reason they cite is they cannot afford the price of a home. Average price has just hit $800,000, which is 150% above the national average, largely because of the environmental extremists that allow people to file a lawsuit to stop any development project for any reason for an indefinite period of time. It is outrageous. And businesses are leaving. More businesses have left California this year. You left too? You're leaving soon? You're leaving soon? Yeah. More businesses have left California so far this year than have left all of last year, and the rate at which people are leaving California is nearly twice the rate that they've left the last 2 or 3 years. There's a magazine called CEO Magazine. You know, I've mentioned that magazine. It's been around for 17 years. 17 years. They've asked CEOs, which is the worst state in which to do business, based upon taxes, based upon spending, based upon the power of the public sector unions, based upon whether or not the state has a pro-business or an anti-business attitude. For 17 consecutive years, California has been determined to be the worst state in which to do business. Now, nobody cares about millionaires and billionaires, to quote Bernie Sanders. Highest state income tax in the nation, 13.3%. There are 40 million people living in California. 1% pay half of the state income taxes, and the state income taxes are the largest source of revenue. 1% account for half of all the state income taxes. So when a millionaire or billionaire leaves California, he or she is taking that massive tax base with them, leaving less money for the things government is supposed to do. This is what we're facing. Rising crime, declining quality of our public schools, shut down the state to the point where 1/3 of all small businesses are now gone forever. We've only recovered half of our jobs pre-pandemic as opposed to 2/3 of the rest of the nation because we're paying people not to work. Rolling brownouts, water shortages. Farmers in Kern County tell me now they are rationing water. I can't think of anything that this man has done in the last 2 years that suggests he deserves another day in office. However, we recognize that we lost the battle, but we are certainly going to win the war. We are forcing them now to pay attention to the problem of homelessness. We are forcing them now to do a better job on schools. We are forcing them now to do a better job on clearing our forests. We're forcing them now to do a better job about energy. We are forcing them now to pay attention to the things they should have paid attention to 2 years ago. So, I know that I want to say a little something about my mom and my dad because they're looking at me right now. You know, my dad came here in 1945. Didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. 8th grade dropout who did not know who his biological father is. Cleaned toilets, full-time, 2 jobs, one for Nabisco brand bread and one for Barbara Ann bread. Saved up enough nickels and dimes to start a little cafe in an area of LA called Pico Union. Bought a house uptown in South Central that is now worth $700,000. I only mention that because it's still in our family, wonderful for us, but somebody who had an 8th grade dropout education, who worked 3 or 4 jobs, could not have a stay-at-home wife, as my dad did, educating 3 boys until the last of us went to middle school, could not duplicate that path because of the outrageous cost of living in California, largely driven by these environmental extremists that have had a stranglehold over Gavin Newsom and have had a stranglehold over Sacramento. We're going to turn that around. They're going to have to pay attention to that now. They weren't going to before, but now because of us, because of you, they're going to have to pay attention to that. So we have lost a battle, but we are absolutely going to win the war. Absolutely. My mother would not have put up with this racial division that we're having right now. Critical race theory, reparations, dividing us by race. Notice that all these people, whether it were Barack Obama or Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, all of whom cut a commercial for Gavin Newsom, notice they never said the following words. Gavin Newsom has done a good job for the people of California. It's a Republican takeover. White supremacists. Say hello to the black face of white supremacy. Hey, don't laugh. Don't laugh. I worked hard for that title. What do you think would have happened if a candidate such as Barack Obama running for president had a white woman in a gorilla mask throw an egg at him? What would have happened? Front page news, Washington Post. Front page news, New York Times. Systemic racism, alive and well in America. They would have been talking about it in Bangladesh. But with me, nothing. Now let's analyze this. Maybe the lady who threw the egg was one of the 20,000 convicted felons that Gavin Newsom released early. I don't know. Maybe she would have been in jail had we not had a soft on crime DA who was backed by Gavin Newsom, who believes in cashless bail. Maybe she would have been in jail. Now, I was called sexist, so I want to be very careful about this. People have told me that this white woman had a gorilla mask. And I've said to my friends, how do you know it was a mask? I don't know. You know, and I have never suggested that anybody should vote for me because I'm black or against me because I'm black. I don't go there. As far as I'm concerned, after we elected the first black president, everything else after that is anticlimactic. Okay? Okay? But, front page article in the New York Times. It was negative, all about me, never once mentioning my race, that I'm black, never once mentioning that if I were to win, I'd be the first black governor of California. Now, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But on the same page, equally long article about, quote, the first female governor of New York. Now, she had a D at the end of her name, so it's relevant she's the first. I have an R at the end of my name, and suddenly I'm no longer black. It's amazing how that happens. Astonishing how that happens. How astonishing how that happens. They try to divide us on race. They want black people not to think about the fact that families have been destroyed because of the welfare state. They don't want black people to think about the decline of the quality of public education. They don't want black people to think about jobs. All they want is black people to think about oppression, that you are under siege, you are a victim. Really? In 2021, after we elected the first black president who got a higher percentage of the white vote than John Kerry did 4 years earlier? Knock it off. Knock it off. Knock it off. It divides us by race. We believe in the dream of MLK, judging people by content of character, not color of skin. And let me tell you something. To the extent that it is humanly possible, America has achieved that dream. Come on. Larry, the headline's going to be, I'll speak slowly because I know CNN is here. Headline. Come on. Headline's going to be, Larry Elder says there's no racism in America. No, I didn't say that. Hell, 8% of Americans believe Elvis is still alive. I don't know what to tell you. But to the extent that it is humanly possible, we have achieved the dream of Martin Luther King, where people are being evaluated by content of character and not color of skin. Knock it off. Obama was running in 2007. He was running against Hillary for the nomination. Mitt Romney was running against John McCain for Republican nomination, right? Gallup decided to ask which of these four candidates had the biggest hurdle. They asked Americans, what percentage of you would never vote for a black person for president? 5%. 2007. What percentage would never vote for a female president? 11%. What percentage would never vote for a Mormon, referring to Mitt Romney? 24%. What percentage would never vote for somebody who would be 72 years old when he became president, referring to John McCain? 42%. So Obama had a lower hurdle than these three white politicians. Knock it off. Knock it off. Speaking of the former president, when he was running for the nomination against Hillary, he hadn't caught her yet. He was invited on 60 Minutes. And Steve Croft, the correspondent, said, Senator, if you don't get the nomination, will it be because of your race? And I'm at home by myself. Nina wasn't there. And I said, let me see what this man says. And he said, no. If I don't get the nomination, it will be because I have not articulated the vision that the American people can embrace. I said, hallelujah. He's not what I call a victocrat. He's not Sharpton. He's not Jesse Jackson. He's not dividing us. Fast forward. He gets in. And by the way, when he walked into office, he had 70% approval. which meant a whole bunch of people who didn't vote for him because he got about 52% said, okay, all right. You know, I don't agree with taxing and spending and regulations and soft on the borders and soft on national security, but at least he will be a racial reconciliator. What did he do? He divided us time and time and time again. The Cambridge police acted stupidly. Remember that? His good friend, Skip Gates, who's a professor at Harvard of African American Studies, comes back from vacation, forgets his door key. He and the cab driver break into his house. Neighbor sees this, doesn't recognize him, Cambridge, and calls 911. Don't you want your neighbors to do that? White cop shows up, very politely sees him in the house, doesn't know if he belongs to the house. Says, sir, please come out and show ID. What did Gates say? I'll come out if your mama tells me to come out. And what Obama should have said, this is early in his presidency, when he should have set the table. Obama should have said, you know, last night I talked to my friend Skip Gates. I've known him for a number of years. I said, Skip, come on. You're a Harvard professor. You're tenured. A lot of these high-profile killings, shootings would have been avoided if the suspect/civilian had just complied. So I told him, I said, knock it off. Knock it off. You should have just come out and said, show some ID. Incident would have been over. But you copped an attitude. Obama didn't say that. What did he say? The Cambridge police acted stupidly. No, they didn't. They did their job. If I had a son who looked like Trayvon, what does that mean? There's a place called Ferguson where we have our own problems. It was a lie. Michael Brown did not have his hands up, did not say don't shoot. It was a lie. He invited Al Sharpton, the nation's most notorious race card hustler, into the White House over 70 times. He embraced this bogus Black Lives Matter movement. He made things worse. I'm a uniter. We are uniting. We are going to bring this country together. We are going to bring this country together because we know what the real problems are, and they have nothing whatever to do with racism. I was talking to a black reporter about all of this. He says, you don't believe in systemic racism? I said, no, I don't. I said, study after study after study has shown that if cops, if anything, they are more hesitant, more reluctant to pull the trigger on a black suspect than a white suspect. In fact, more unarmed whites are killed every year than unarmed blacks. I said, name one unarmed white. He couldn't do it because CNN doesn't care. MSNBC Hee-Haw doesn't care. Anderson Cooper doesn't care. They only care if an unarmed black person is killed. More unarmed whites killed every year than unarmed blacks. It is a lie, I said to him. He still wasn't feeling me. You know, I'm a Uncle Tom, I'm a sellout, I'm a bootlicker, I'm the black face of white supremacy. I said, by far, the biggest problem in our society in general, the biggest problem in the black community in particular, is a large number of children who enter the world without a father married to the mother. Let's be real here. Let's be real. He didn't want to hear it. I said, all right, let's do this. Get out your magic wand. Stephen Sachs, much love, Zana. Get out your magic wand. Stephen Sachs, I've known him for a number of years, from South Africa. He can tell you what apartheid is really like. We're an apartheid state, America. I mean, really? So, I said, get out your magic wand. Wave it over America. Remove every smidgen of racism from the hearts of white people. Now, everybody in America who's white thinks like Mother Teresa, I said to him. Do we still have the phenomenon where 70% of black children enter the world without a father married to the mother? Forget about elder. I love to quote left-wing people whenever I can. Barack Obama once said, only said it once, he got hammered, doesn't say it anymore, a kid raised without a father is 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 times more likely to end up in jail. Now, 25% of black children entered the world without a father married to the mother in 1965. Now the number is 70%. I said, do we still have that phenomenon? By the way, 25% of white kids now enter the world today without a father married to the mother. Half of all Hispanic kids enter the world without a father married to the mother. 40% of all children do because when Lyndon Johnson launched the so-called war on poverty, $20 trillion later, we are incentivizing women to marry the government, and incentivizing men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. And I said to him, after you've waved this wand, do we still have the situation where the number one cause of preventable death for young white men is accidents, like car accidents or drownings, whereas the number one cause of preventable death for young black men is homicide, almost always at the hands of another young black man? Do we still have the phenomenon, I told him, where of the 15,000 annual homicides every year, half of the victims are black, even though blacks are only 13% of the population? Do we still have that phenomenon? Do we still have the phenomenon where a young black man is 8 times more likely to be killed than a young white man? I said, if the answer to that series of questions is true, then I submit to you that systemic racism is not the problem, and critical race theory and reparations are not the answer. Knock it off. Knock it off. Our movement is about bringing people together and dealing with the problems that we have of crime, of homelessness, of people leaving this state because of the high cost of living, because we have the highest state income tax in the nation, because we have high regulations, because we're not managing our forests properly, because we're not managing our energy grid properly, and we are not investing in our water infrastructure. These are the kinds of things that we're going to deal with. It's not about race. Knock it off. My father came here in 1945, 2 nickels to rub together, worked 2 full-time jobs cleaning toilets, started a little cafe, Pico Union area, became a Marine, World War II Marine. Thank you, sir. By the way, when I asked my dad why he became a Marine, he said 2 reasons. You know what I'm going to say? They go where the action is, and I love the uniforms. And my father always told my brothers and me, hard work wins. You get out of life what you put into it. You cannot control the outcome, Larry, but you are 100% in control of the effort. And before you complain about what somebody said to you or did to you, go to the nearest mirror, look at it, and say, what could I have done to change the outcome? And finally, my father always told this to my brothers and me: no matter how hard you work, how good you are, sooner or later, bad things are going to happen. How you deal with those bad things will tell your mother and me if we raised a man. And every day, I try to please my mother and my father by trying to convince them that they, in fact, have raised a man. So, I just want to thank everybody, all my volunteers, all the people who knocked on doors, who rang doorbells, who made phone calls, who went online. I want to thank my wonderful campaign staff. I have been a politician for all of 7 or 8 weeks. How am I doing? They are now listening in ways they never listened before. They're now hearing us in ways they never heard us before. They're now going to work our problems the way they've never done before. I'm not somebody like my opponent who was born on third base and thought he hit a triple. I'm somebody from the inner city whose parents came here, as I said, with nothing, who worked hard, love you too, who worked hard, who believed in the American dream. And we believe in the American dream. We believe in a country. We believe in the vision of Martin Luther King. We believe in hope, true unity. We don't divide by race. We don't divide by gender. We don't divide by sexual orientation. We don't divide by ethnicity. We don't divide by religion. We unite. My opponent referred to this recall as a move to take over California by white supremacists. Do I look like a white supremacist? Now, when you consider, we don't blame, we don't finger point, we don't roll like that. But when you consider we were outspent by a factor of 5, 6, 7 to 1, I wasn't running just against Gavin Newsom. I was running against the left-wing media. I was running against a newspaper, the LA Times, that referred to me as the black face of white supremacy. I'm running against a newspaper that called me everything but a black David Duke. I'm running against a media that serves as a public relations bureau for the left. And we still scared the bejesus out of them. That's why they brought in Barack Obama. They brought in Bernie Sanders, a socialist who owns 3 homes, but I digress. They brought in Senator Warren. And as I said before, all they did was call this a Republican takeover. I mentioned State Senator Gloria Romero. 63% of Hispanics voted for this man just 2 years earlier. And Gloria, you know this, the majority of Hispanics now want him out over the issue of school choice. The majority of declined estate voted for him just 2 years ago. Now the majority want him out. And they're calling this a Republican takeover. It is insulting to the people of California who signed that petition and who voted yes on the recall. It is insulting. But that's how they roll. We don't roll that way. We don't finger point. We don't blame. We roll up our sleeves. We get back to it because, as I said before, we may have lost the battle, but we're sure as hell going to win the war. Finally, let me leave you with this. I want to thank all of the religious leaders who back me. Pastor Joe Pettick of Huntington Hills, Pastor Jack Hibbs, Chino, Pastor Joe Franklin, Fresno, Pastor Paul Chappell, Lancaster. Hope I'm not leaving anybody out. You all got my love, and I love you so much. And I must tell you, I have been overwhelmed by the support. Men, women coming up to me, crying, saying that for the first time, you've now given me hope that things can turn around. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be asked by all the members of the media, what are you going to do next? What happens after this? Christian, thank you for your love. What happens after all of this? As a former radio host, let me just say this. Stay tuned. God bless you. May God bless California. We got a state to save. Jeff Corliss and my security team, Nina, Jennifer, come on, Ying Ma, communications, Bill Bayer, my lawyer, thank you. Super Joe Bezak, Desert Storm, Marine, Jenny Sand, one of whom convinced me to run. She said, Larry, you got to do this. I said, who's this crazy lady who keeps writing me letters asking me to run for office?
Are we proud of him or what?
Stephanie Marshall, Communications Director.
No.
Communications Department. Press Secretary. Whatever. Arnie Steinberg, strategist. Lionel Chetman, chairman. All right, you got it. Betty Chu. Love you more. Love you more. Bill. Steve Barrick, my lawyer. Come on, Gloria. Careful, 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 careful. Woo!
Democrats for Larry, now and forever.
Fred Whitaker.
You want to work the crowd, go in the crowd or not?
I don't think so. God bless you all. Thank you all for coming. I love you all. I love you all. For CNN, I hope I didn't speak too quickly. I tried not to use big words. God bless you all. This is only the beginning. You know that. Marine Corps. Okay.
You're up. Maybe shake hands around. You're good.
All right, that wraps up a very interesting speech by Larry Elder. I got to say, it sounded a lot like his campaign speeches that we've heard. Went over a lot of the things that he stands for, and went over a lot of the topics here in California that's on the voters' mind, but yet hinted at a stay tuned kind of feel that perhaps this is not the end that we've seen of Larry Elder.
Yeah, he's definitely not finished, so.
He's definitely not finished. Now, I will say, full transparency here, there are people in this room right now that feel like the votes are still out there that need to be counted. I had people come up to me and say, hey, there's thousands of votes down in Mission Viejo that have not been counted. There's thousands of votes across this state that has not been counted. And they have questions why he would, I guess it seemed like very, that he basically gave into the election and conceded.
It definitely sounded like that, yeah.
Which is kind of I don't know, I'm just being full transparency here. That's what I'm seeing here on the ground. But nevertheless, Larry Elder has definitely made a splash in California politics. And for a first time, person to kind of do this, he made a pretty big wave here in California, and hoping, and I guess what we're seeing, Sarah, is that perhaps this will lead into a much bigger gubernatorial campaign for 2024.
Yeah, hopefully, the state doesn't go down further.
That's what you were saying earlier. Like, this is concerning to you because Newsom's got a couple years to really do some damaging things to this state.
Yes, absolutely, and it's very, very scary. So hopefully we're still counting, but it looks like Newsom's got his power still.
Yeah, Newsom's got the power in his hands to do pretty much what he wants at this point. So let's go ahead and thank our broadcast sponsors of the day. We've got two great companies that we are so proud to have on the right side broadcasting. Of course, we have our great Mike Lindell, that great patriot that has really come out and been the force and the mouthpiece for election integrity, for being the mouthpiece for freedom and liberty and integrity in our elections. We want to thank Mike Lindell, and of course you can thank him by going to his website, mypillow.com, and putting that promo code RSBN at checkout to get up to 66% off your entire order. This is what this is all about. This is about the people. This is a movement for the people. That's exactly what Mike Lindell has done right there. He's a movement for the people. We also want to thank our friends at ilovemyfreedom.com, and that might be one of my favorite websites that I'm saying right now. ilovemyfreedom.com, a brand new partner of the network. So go to the website, put in the promo code RSBN. They've got hats, they've got flags, they've got t-shirts, they've got stickers. If it's patriotic and it loves this country, loves God, loves freedom, then it is right there on that website, ilovemyfreedom.com. Special offers there when you put RSBN at checkout. And this is the first time they've partnered up with us, so we'd like to show them as much love as we can. So please go to the website, put in the promo code RSBN, and you get special offers as well. Sarah Rodriguez, it has been an outstanding night. It's definitely not the outcome that we wanted.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
But we remain optimistic that we've got God in control.
got God in control, and we need to be louder.
That's a big point that you and I have been talking a lot about, that conservatives don't voice their opinion in opposition like the left does. They throw rocks and they destroy stuff, they burn down buildings. We like to do it a little bit more peacefully, and I think as conservatives we need to rise up. So wherever you're watching us right now, if you don't like things in your immediate community, step up and make a difference.
Make it happen, definitely.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining me. It was so sweet. You're a great person to do this whole show alongside with. You give us a great local perspective, and I really appreciate you coming out and doing that. If somebody wants to follow you on social media, how would they do that?
Instagram's the only one left. Sarah, SARAH _Jane, JANE _ Rodriguez, RODRIGUEZ.
Sarah Jane Rodriguez. And you can follow me at Brian Glenn TV across all social media. I haven't got canceled yet off of those, so you can follow me everywhere. And you can always follow us, Right Side Broadcasting, across all of our platforms. Don't forget to download our app on your Android and iOS platforms. Great resource to be able to stream all this content, have past shows and all that good stuff. Until next time, from Costa Mesa, California, goodbye, God bless, good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.